joins the Red Host. Cursed Sotek spawn.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, this is a little bit cluttered. I'm going to make that do that, and I'm going to move my big stupid face a little more in the center. Good morning. Good morning. Hopefully everyone is doing well today, as we have some exciting stuff about to start here in a little bit. So good morning to everyone. Today is obviously the start of the Total War show and tell here. Excuse me. In about 20 minutes. I figured I would get on just a little bit early so we could have a chat amongst ourselves to make sure everyone is situated and comfortable, and we are able to be ready to go when the show starts. But I hope you're all doing well today. Should be a good show. I think it's going to be roughly, I want to say it's going to be roughly an hour. We'll see. Man, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I am tired. I slept like butts last night. I don't know about you guys. I've slept terribly. But Jordan Maz, thank you so much for the Prime sub. I really appreciate that. Welcome to the community. Hope you're having an excellent morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And Sean Schultz, is CA going to talk about their new game engine? Thank you for the super chat. I don't know if they're going to talk about the game engine like in of itself as like a separate focus. I think today is mostly going to be a focused update, I think the stream's going to be more about taking all of the different games they're working on right now and giving sort of a overview update to focus on what they're up to, how things are going, and show off something. So I think we're gonna get to definitely see little bits and pieces of everything that they're up to. So we're probably going to see at least we're gonna see a little bit of new end time stuff. We're gonna see hopefully a show off of Bashiba things. We're gonna hopefully get some new looks. I mean, so like, if you're wanting to see the new engine, we might get to see the new engine for like 40k. I'm not sure what all it'll be in there, but why am I so little? Here, I'll get bigger for you. Just for you, just because you asked. Oh goodness. But yeah, the show starts in about 19 minutes. So I will say, I'm really hoping. I don't know if it's gonna happen for sure, but I'm hoping that today is gonna be the release date reveal for Bashiba. That would make me very, very happy. I would love for us to get like an official release date, because I am very much hoping that Bashiba is going to be coming out in May, because I in my head I'm like, okay, spring release, as long as she is like technically out by then that's good enough for me. I should put on some I should put on some just random background music here. Oh, you know what? Classic. There we go. Just a little bit of wake up stuff. Do I think they'll drop a trailer? I don't think they'll drop a trailer in the sense of like a massive thing. I wouldn't be upset if they did. I'm not expecting a trailer. I'm expecting just gameplay. But I'd be happy to be wrong. The whole thing with Bashiba is really interesting, of that she is our first, she's the first DLC of her kind, being this new mini pack format. So I personally am not expecting them to invest much in the marketing for Bashiba. I feel like it's kind of gonna just be a, hey, here you go, here it is. I would love a trailer, because trailers are, I think Creative Assembly makes some of the best trailers, and they're always incredible. They have the best music out of everything for Total War Warhammer, which is really frustrating sometimes, because the trailers have these amazing music. I have a flat redeem. It should have fired off automatically, did it not? Oh, that's weird. I don't know why it didn't fire. I don't know why it's not working. Okay, I'll just do it manually. Boop. And boop. Ah! Now we're large. Necroplayer, any guesses or hopes for the new legendary hero, at least mechanically? So normally I would speculate super duper hard. And if I were speculating super duper hard, I would say oh, maybe we're getting Shi Hong, the blind artificer of Nangao, or we're gonna be getting one of the new sentinels, but it would seem Vol'jin TM, thank you so much for the Prime sub, and Skywama, thank you for the 5 gift subs. I really appreciate it. Holy moly, thank you very much. So why are we doing each individual one? No, shush, Ratman, silence. I lost my train of thought. Oh, the general gist of the Lords of Shenyang leak seems to have been pretty accurate. And in that, the legendary hero figure looks to be some kind of melee specialist. But it's like some human. Good God, what the hell? Y'all are going, whoa. Okay, y'all are going nutso. Mornington Crescent, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Tech27, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Jesus fucking Christ. So it's looking like, oh my God, thank y'all so much. Holy shit, thank you. That's very generous. Thank you so much. I'm thinking that it's gonna be whoever this person is. They look like some sort of melee specialist. I'm imagining they're going to, oh my, what the fuck are, Jordan Moss, thank you for the 10 gift subs. Castrated, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Fucking shit, dude. That is so many gift subs. What the fuck? Dear God. Thank you guys. Jesus. Fuck. Well, I'm awake now. If I wasn't awake before, I'm awake now. Will it be that claw staff lady? I think so. Thank y'all. Jesus, a level 7 hype train. That's fucking crazy. Go Contes, thank you for 5 gift subs. What the? Wait, the avatar broke? What? Huh? Where? Wait, where did I go? Where? Oh. What? Why is my shit breaking? Oh, I think I know what happened there. Okay. Hold on. I think the little guy redeem is over. Okay. Fuck, guys. Thank y'all so much for the support. Y'all broke it. Y'all broke the thing. Gigago Gantes, thank you very much for the 5 gift subs. Jesus Christ, y'all. Thank you so much. Dawson Whaler, thank you very much for the super chat. Sorry I haven't made the last few tabletop streams. Appreciate all the streams and shorts. Well, first of all, thank you. Please don't ever feel like you're required to show up for those. I appreciate when you do, mightily, but it is certainly never a focus. I mean, I hope there's some trailers today. I'm gonna be honest. Like, you know how Nagash got a big trailer for like the end times? Like, I don't need necessarily a 2-part trailer like we did with Nagash, where Nagash technically had 2 trailers. But like, if whoever the next end times character is, which the Glotkin would make the most sense, right? Like, let's see, is Throt gonna still be yelling if I turn him back on? Okay, I think he's done. I would really like to see like a little movie. God damn it!
Thing joins the red host.
No! I thought he was done. Lord Gron, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Whatever, I'll just let him yell. What's the Great Planathon? Okay, so for those that don't know, I'm very briefly, I'll get y'all caught up, because this is not the focus of the stream. The Great Planathon, it's this thing that's gonna appear behind me as a jump scare here in a second. I am running like a event right now where any and all subs or gift subs or YouTube super chats or YouTube membership or YouTube gifted memberships or direct tips that you'll find like on the link and all that stuff, any of that stuff goes towards like a pool. And as we reach the various levels of rewards, we've unlocked various goodies and we've actually reached over the $5,000 threshold, which is nuts. There, thank you so much for gifting 10 YouTube membership. Jesus fucking, y'all are going nuts. I will say we are well past the 5K mark. If we get to 10K, 10,000. Sorry, my voice is like all over the fucking place. I will dye all of my hair, my beard, my hair, everything. I will dye it Troll Slayer orange or like Troll Slayer red, depending on how you interpret that color. And I will shave my head into a Slayer crest. So I'll shave the sides and I will make my hair into a big Slayer crest mohawk until my rest of my hair grows back. Which we're over halfway, but we're only running this event until the 9th of May. So when we hit the 9th of May, that's it. That's the end.
Sot hug.
Because I don't think y'all can do it.
Salsa cheered.
Is 20K you shave the beard? I feel like that would
have made. We're making you a slayer.
I feel like that would be a contradictory thing. Eileen, unless people really wanted that. But Delvamar, thank you so much for the 2 months. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Normally I watch those stuff as the VODs because my neurodivergence requires that I can pause, but I'm coping enough to be live for these reveals. I'll be in the bard. I appreciate that. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. As far as hold on. Let me turn off our jazz. I don't think we need, especially Christmas jazz. Ugh. It's too late in the year for that. If I do that, are they playing music? They're playing music. They're playing music. Oh wait. Hold on. I just realized that. I just realized that my thing here is like all fucked up. I forgot that I had broken this. Grab that. Put that there. Oh geez. Oh geez. Everyone hold on to your butts. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. The music do be pretty though.
Joins the red host.
The music do be pretty though.
Sotek Slayer.
So Tech Slayer. Wait. Wait. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. I don't want to be the self-killer. I don't I feel like being a Slayer implies a issue. Mops, thank you very much for 17 months. The Yeti, thank you for the 5 gift subs. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Elemental Exposure, thank you for the $2 super chat. And Antonio Runs, thank you for music's a bit loud. I will turn it down a smidge. Thank you. Oh yeah. Oh, that's the other one. Let me know if that's better. Antonio Runza, thank you for the 13 months of being a member. I appreciate that. So we've got 6 minutes till the show starts. So, well, okay, let me see, chat. What are you the most excited for thing? What's the thing you're the most looking forward to being revealed? Is it 40K? Is it Med 3? Is it Rome 2? Is it Bashiba and End? Like, we're gonna see basically our first piece of End content. Or is it the End Times? Lore Slayer. Lore Slayer is a little less, like, suicidal sounding, so that's nice. Necro Player, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much. A level 8 hype train. We have not had a level 8 hype train. We haven't not had a hype train like that in many, many months. Thank you all so much. I'm excited to see Sotek in the presentation. I am not in this show. For the love of God. Listen, Showmaster of Soytek was in a Peruvian prison at the time of this filming. He has not been cited since last year. He is not in the show. he's not there. I know you're not gonna believe me, because if I was in the show, I'd be lying to you. But he's not there. You're I realize I can only set you up for disappointment, but whatever. If he is there, that will be a genuine shock to me. Shameful display. Sotek DLC, technically we already had that. I mean, I would be all for a second Sotek DLC. I still want Teto Echo. I want a Teto Echo DLC. With, like, Chakax the Eternity Warden as a legendary hero, and then a bunch of Lizardman stuff. I still want it. Do you think we'll get Egrim at some point? I 100% think we're gonna get Egrim von Horseman. I think the Bashiva DLC, hopefully Bashiva is good, and it's well received, and lots of people buy it because it's really fun. And if that happens, and everybody loves it, which hopefully they will, because hopefully CA does a really good job, then I honestly think Egrim von Horseman would be one of the next ones they would do. Because a mini pack for Tzeentch would be perfect. That would be such a good way to top off Tzeentch. Like, you do Egrim von Horseman as your legendary lord, Galroch as your legendary hero, and then you do just a couple of, like, just a few Tzeentch units, like maybe like Tzeentchian Fireworms, Azure Princes as like an elite infantry unit to go against like your Champions of Slash and whatever Bloodwrath Berserkers, and then like some really fancy super unit like a Tzeentchian Bane Tower would be really cool.
_Golgans cheered. AX200. Through which channel are donations most effective to act? The amount? Is it the direct donation link?
So if you want to help me out as much as possible, and you want your money to be as efficient as possible, using the direct donate link that you would find in the you'll find it in the top of the description on YouTube or down in the panels below on Twitch. that is the best way to help because I get the highest cut. YouTube super chats and memberships, I only get like 70-ish%, and on Twitch I only get like 60-ish% of like memberships. Though bits, I do think I get 100% of bits. I think. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Now I don't recognize this music, but it could be from one of the historical games. You were discussing the R. Ulrich with Andy this week. Would you have him as a legendary lord or hero, and Vaulted should be a legendary hero? I mean, if it was up to me, I would rather R. Ulrich be a lord, because I feel like that would make him more of an equivalent to Volkmar. But I feel like you would have to have R. Ulrich or Boris Todbringer. Having both of them as a legendary lord, I don't think would work, because they'd both want to be in Middenheim. You could make one of them, like, I feel like we would be more likely to get Toddy. But I mean, like, Toddy would be, I don't know, like, a part of me would love, like, Toddy as a free LC legendary lord, maybe, because, like, we technically have him, though he's not very distinct. And R. Ulrich, I think, would make for a really good legendary lord, but I'd also be open to, I mean, I could live with R. Ulrich as a legendary hero. I would prefer him as a legendary lord. I would love if it was a Vlad and Isabella situation. Like, if they could make it like a Vlad von Karstein, Isabella von Karstein situation, where one of them was your legendary lord and like the other one converts into a legendary hero, and maybe like Boris is the default. That would be super cool. But I don't know. I could go either way on it, to be honest. How about a Kabanda character pack? I will hurt you. I will go to your house, I will break your fucking kneecaps, and I will burn down everything you love. 5 seconds! Here we go! Josh!
And welcome to the very first, maybe last, we'll see. But at least
The first and last.
Total War show and tell.
I'm gonna turn that up.
Some of you who've been around in the community for a while may remember the old "What the Teams Are Working On" blogs.
It's
We thought about doing one of
Josh!
those, and then we thought maybe we could do something a bit more interesting. So we're here to effectively do a live version of them.
Oh, scene.
We've got about 7 sections of this stream. You'll see some stuff down below, but Warhammer 3 has separate sections for updates.
Sorry.
Bashiba,
Sorry, I
or
forgot y'all.
Lords of the End
I forgot.
Times.
I forgot you're all
I'll say
not
now,
here for
anyone
just
who's
me.
watched the Building Medieval 3 streams, you're going to see 2 very familiar faces very quickly.
All right,
But,
so we're starting with Medieval
that's
3.
kind of the vibe that we're going for here. So don't, if you've come here expecting to see cinematics or highly polished assets, 80% of this was recorded by me at my home computer. So you're going to see some sneak peeks. You're going to see a lot of in development, a lot of rough stuff. But
Okay.
know that we're not going for high quality CGI trailers here. You're going to see some real behind the scenes,
A little bit louder?
developer footage.
Okay.
And we're going to start off.
Okay,
we've got a lot to
so
go through,
this
so
is
we are
more
gonna
of a
speak through. We're gonna
behind the
start off with
scenes development
Medieval
update,
3.
not
So, I'm
like
gonna
a
swap us over.
trailer show.
Whoa.
Ooh,
To our Medieval 3 section.
transitions.
Welcome.
Ooh.
The only
hello.
people who've really, apart from Roger, I guess, sat on these sofas. You're up first. Welcome to the show and tell.
Thank
Got
you very
some
much.
stuff
Thank
to
you.
show
Yeah,
and
good
tell.
to be here.
For those, so obviously we've done some Building Medieval 3 streams before. People in the audience may not know about that, but
Oh, I know what room this
for
is.
those who
I know what
haven't,
room
or
this is
those
in
who
their
don't have a
office.
2 month memory, who are you guys?
So I'm Pavel. I'm the game director on Medieval 3.
Hey everyone, my name is Leif. I'm the creative director on Medieval 3.
Fantastic. So I've spoken about the Building Medieval 3 streams, but what have we shown so far in Building Medieval 3?
So back in December, shortly after announce, we showed the campaign map for the first time, raw and unfiltered, pre-production campaign.
Raw
where
and
we looked at,
unfiltered,
some
just
of
the
some
way
of
I like my
exciting
medieval.
developments, like the building directly onto the map, as well as some other bits. And then we followed up with Siege, Siege Battle, just a month ago, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and authoring of settlements,
Yep.
which is a big topic for us right now, and some of the new bits of Siege gameplay. Yeah,
That's right. And the plan is that we do that. We drop the blog as well, recapping all of the conversations that we're having and the key topics from our forums. So
Yep.
please join the forums. There'll be link up at some point to join us in the community. And yeah, we're looking to keep doing that. Yeah. So.
Buffett, thank you for the super chat.
Well, I'll ask
Everyone
one
focus
last
up. We're looking
question
for
and
Ryan's
we'll fully
Biddle
dive
Pop.
in. So what is the
Little
current
pop
development
knees and
progress?
legs in every frame. Yeah, you'll just see my
Well,
legs.
one of the
at some
exciting
point.
things we started since our last live stream was really to start looking
My
into
my
unit rosters.
delicious Isabella von Karstein legs.
You know, we sometimes joke that.
Have you
we
missed
talk a
much?
lot
No,
about,
they just started.
Exciting features and new things and whatnot, but really, what a lot of our fans are caring the most about is the unit.
I'm actually one of the couches.
So it was a great time to start looking into that in more detail. I'm not sure we ever mentioned it on stream, but one of the historical consultants we worked with last year is Professor Peter Wilson, who is an expert on the Holy Roman Empire, and we felt like, okay, this is one of the reasons why starting with the Holy Roman Empire is actually a good start. It's also, of course, a very interesting, let's say, melting pot.
So just curious,
it's not the most
you're so loud
straightforward
compared to them.
roster to start with, so it
I
was
don't
good.
know what you want me to do. I've got them as loud as they can go. I mean, I can turn myself down. I can turn myself quieter. Let me know if that's better.
Actually, some
I'll make
additional
myself a little
context
quieter.
for those that haven't maybe joined us on the
They're
Building
talking
Medieval
in
live streams is that
subtle
we are
British
in
volume.
pre-production. So this is still a phase where we are pre-producing the game. We are looking at which features can fit.
For
what
those
can
of y'all
work,
that have
how can it
been
work,
keeping up
and
with
building
the
the rosters and
Medieval
designing
3,
the rosters and for the factions
like,
that we want
developer live streams,
to feature in the game. As
how
part
have
of
y'all
that,
been
part of that
enjoying
work.
the
So yeah, just some context for those that maybe
reveals so far?
don't know where we are.
And I believe we'll be showing a little bit of roster from one of those factions, right?
Yep, we can start to just show sort of an overview. Don't worry, we'll talk more in detail about things. But
So what am I looking at?
obviously, it's a long process to really settle on the roster, and as Pat was saying, we were still very early, so
Frederick Ryan.
there's a lot of
like
disclaimers here
Patrick
that things
Bate's
will
SpongeBob
probably
movie.
change in the upcoming future.
I'm trying to grow my hair out.
It typically
for the
starts
potential
with
of the
sort of
Slayer
really
thing.
the
'Cause if
game
we hit the
design
Slayer
view
reward,
on it, where we
I
do
need
a
my
lot of
hair to be as
research.
long as possible,
Oscar,
so
one of
letting
our most
everything just kinda go
experienced
wild.
battle designers in the franchise, has taken the helm on this roster specifically to really catch, let's say, the vibe of okay, the Holy Roman Empire. If you think of the military formations of the time, like what are they really about?
Yeah.
And then we had a great opportunity recently to collaborate with Dr. Tobias Cackwell, who's a former curator of the Wallace collection and sort of a really established coryphée.
They're whipping out
is
the
that a word?
doctorates. Put yourself in the bottom left.
A real established
Yes.
expert.
Yeah,
Coryphée
absolutely. An
for
expert,
the German.
yeah. He's
a
a
real
doctor
expert
of armor.
Yeah, exactly. Like a real
Oh,
expert.
I just realized
and,
this thing is in the way.
you know,
Here,
an
accomplished
we can hide
jouster.
that
accomplished
for now.
justice as
There
well.
we go.
I will quickly interject to say, Mr. Producer, if you could turn down your headset because we can hear it
Yes.
and it is echoing onto the stream.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Producer.
That's a little
And one thing worth mentioning here as well, that throughout pre-production, we've already mentioned
Mr.
two
Producer!
historical experts that we're working with.
Turn-
This is part of our process where we,
Turn it down!
as we develop, as we pre-produce, as we look at different new topics, cultures, we reach out to various advisors and historical experts within various
Okay, so
fields
they're
to
doing
help
this live.
kind of cover the whatever blind spots we may have or reinforce the.
This
the
is
kind of
not.
research
This is
that we're
not
doing. So it's part of-
recorded
part of
and
that
then
process.
released
So
as a video. This is
will
a
not be the only
actual
names
live
that-
stream.
that we will be talking about during these streams.
We're just now
Yeah.
starting to reach out to some experts for more the Arabian Muslim cultures and factions we'll be looking at. So there's more to come there for sure.
Arabian
Fantastic. So,
and
do you want to
Muslim
talk a little bit
cultures.
about this one? The next
Let's
picture we have is a
Games
very big
Workshop,
picture that we
let
tried to
CA
put
do
together.
Arabic.
Yeah, let's go with the
Give
next
us
one
Arabic.
because I think one of the key
Give us
things that
Arabic.
I
Oh, yeah,
hope
no, this
our
is a
community is
gajillion
excited
times better
about
than a
is that
Games
we're
Workshop
moving
show.
away a little from, let's say, the old school view of a faction roster. One of the things we talked a lot about in the first stream was us making sure that the world feels lived in, that there's a realness to the world responding to your actions, and you feel the consequences.
Couchmaster of Seat
And one of the things that
That does sound like my
always
real
bothered
name.
me a little
That
bit in
sounds
the
like
older
my-
games
my
was
legal
that
name.
you would capture new territory and foreign lands, and the units you recruit are still largely the same, right? One of the cool things in Rome 2 was the auxiliary system, where you would capture Egypt and then you would start fielding Egyptian auxiliary units in your armies, and it felt really like, okay, it's the world is responding to my actions. There's strategic impact depending on what I conquer and when. it really influences the roster.
And
I
as
don't
we've-
say this
we've
lightly.
talked about this, this window to the world.
It
World's
is
going alive. The world
genuinely
is full of
very
people. Population
possible
as a concept.
that if
We
Total
have
War is
cultures,
going to be
cultures
developing
mixed.
a
we
significant
wanted to find a way to represent that in a way
Arabian,
that didn't feel too kind of
Middle
contrived
Eastern
Yeah.
set of
I would
cultures
say,
for
so I can see
Medieval
people
3.
saying this isn't. They can't read it. They can't.
Yeah, that's on
They're
purpose.
not meant to.
You're not meant to read this. We'll look at a few detailed units in a bit. This isn't. You're meant to look at the
If they
colors.
do that,
So what the colors are showing us here is everything that's red on the side.
that would be like
these are
a,
cultural
almost
units.
kind of like a potential
That's one of
proposal
the
to
sort of
GW
major
of
leaps
showing
we're
that
taking
like
with
they
rosters
can handle
here,
it,
where
they can do it because that's
all
what
the units in
happened
red
with
are
Cathay.
not technically part of the Holy Roman Empire roster. Any faction that captures territory with cultures that are part of these cultures would have access to these units. And because cultures can travel across the map, there's a lot of dynamism here where we'll talk about a Franconian unit in a bit. Like if you have access to Franconian culture, even playing as Poland, for example, you'd be able to have access to these units. And equally, me playing as the HRE, I might have access to these cultural units that
Okay.
are part of the, let's say, geography of these other
Oh,
ones.
that's
something you could
cool. I
pursue,
like the
you
idea of
could-
the cultural units.
and courage.
Exactly.
And yeah.
It makes me want
then
like,
in yellow
certain dogs
is
of
possibly
war
the
when
most
you
important
conquer
part.
certain territory.
These are the units unique to the Holy Roman Empire alone. Like no other faction ever has access to these units. And that's of course where we really lean into, let's say, the personality and the sort of really the vibe of the Holy Roman Empire. Trying
If
to
Mr. Producer could slightly turn down his headset a little bit more, we can still hear quite an echo. He can double check if it is his headset
I
and take
just
it off.
talk over
Sounds like
myself.
a speaker somewhere, maybe.
It's
It's live and unplugged.
Yeah.
live and unplugged. Man,
We should also say there's a big forum post going live
Yes.
right now,
It's
or
live,
maybe after
it's
this,
unplugged,
where there's
it's
a lot more
raw,
detail
it's
about
unfiltered,
this.
I think we
delicious.
have this image in high res as well, so you can see the
Yeah.
detail of that. So if you can't read it now, don't
So
worry.
please check out that forum post. The last color I will call out is blue, which is what we call a faction block. So that's sort of a granularity layer a little bit below the faction, where say you have the Duchy of Saxony breaking off the empire in revolt. The blue units would be what that faction has access to. So that's sort of
cameraman,
in the
cut to
rough
the person talking.
geography and block over a certain
Instead of
faction
Josh
to give a bit
stressing
more
about the
regional
audio.
identity, right? And if you have a revolt in France,
I know
they
that
will
look.
have
I know
different
that look
units
because
than
I've had
revolt
that look
in
when you're
Germany,
trying
for
to do these kinds of streams of like.
the other bit you might see
good?
on this sheet are the
Have we
little
fixed it?
labels on the side, in the top right corner.
They've said
they're
Medieval 3 is going to be
green,
starting in
gray, and blue
1140.
labels, and they are the population estates that these
Okay.
units are drawn from. Something we will talk more about in the future, in a possible future live stream. There's some more info in that forum post as well. But that's really what kind of people do you need to recruit
We'll
these
say though,
units?
comparing
Green is
this
peasants.
against any of the Games
So
Workshop
that's
live
your
reveals,
rural population.
it's a gajillion times
Gray
better.
is the townsfolk living in your cities.
GW
and blue
wishes
is,
they
of
could
course,
make live streams like
the
this.
nobles, as you would expect.
So yeah, so do please check out the forum post that we're dropping. If it's not live, it will be, because it goes into a lot more detail on our approach to factions.
Yeah, it's really
the
just
roster
Leaf's
designs, the
voice
cultures,
that's
the
carrying
influences, all
over
of it, so it's
through the echo.
really, really comprehensive write-up
That's
of our
fair.
approach.
Have we covered all the colours of the rainbow?
I think so.
Okay. So should we talk about a few specific units there?
Yeah, no, for sure.
For all of those who were demanding we zoom in, finally.
Oh wow!
Finally,
those
a
look
bit,
really,
a bit
really
closer zoom.
good.
So, starting at the top picture is a unit we're currently calling Ministerialis. Actually, quite interesting when we started to look into.
Was it
units
Ministerialis?
across Europe, there was this trend of, let's say, non-noble knights. Of course, the British
Look
yeomen.
at those
or
border
English
prince
yeomen.
knights. 'Cause
In Iberia, it's the villain
I'm
knights, and in
historically
the Holy Roman
illiterate
Empire,
and
it
can only
was
see
the
things through a
Ministerialis,
fantasy
essentially
lens.
a class of, let's say, non-noble, more wealthy townsfolk, urban townsfolk, or estate owners, who would essentially work as knights in service of the empire. And they're sort of a lighter version of the more classic knights. And you can see here the before and after is essentially our initial concepts on the left, and then on the right, after working with Tobias Capwell and his feedback, and of course, it's a little bit of a flex on our side here. How well we got it right at the beginning.
We got to play spot the difference.
Sort of the level of detail of the
It is
feedback.
nice.
His
very
main
nice
point of
to see
feedback was
CA
the chaussées and
working on,
that
like,
really
a
the
major
calves ought
historical
to be
title again.
protected, and that's why on the right you should see essentially the calves being protected by chainmail. as
I have
well.
to squint, but yes, it's there.
Yeah. And then below is the Constablers. So that's the unit.
I like how they're like
that
the
we
before
currently
image.
sort of
You'll
see
notice
as
is almost
unique
the
to
exact
Franconian
same as the
culture.
after image because we took this
And
to a
it's,
doctorate
of course,
level
a topic we
historian.
talk a lot about. Okay, what is faction
Change
unique?
things.
What
They
is
said,
cultural?
okay, and
But it really
we
felt
changed
like
it,
sort of
but
deeply rooted in
it's
the
very hard
mercantile
to tell.
traditions of Franconian, the wealthy Franconian cities along the River Rhine and whatnot. And these are essentially a professional, almost like mercenary militia in service of the rich patricians of these cities and protecting these towns, and occasionally being drafted into the armies of the empire. You can see quite a bit of change here that we did after the feedback from Toby.
Yeah, the bottom one is a
calling
much
out that,
more dramatic.
these helmets, that was really
change.
part of like let's say the wealth that would be attributed to these units really is calling for better facial protection, and these iconic helmets that are quite, let's say, unique to the German fashion, with the facial visors and whatnot.
I've seen people trying to work out, especially in that top right one, what the differences are. And I know you called out the calves, but for me, it's the split between the legs.
Yes.
That's a little
yeah,
animation
they're
consideration
split skirts, yeah.
rather than, but yes.
Yeah.
Let's
And,
start
and also there's obviously the QR code on screen, so do please.
Yep. I believe that post is now live.
Fantastic. So yeah, so do follow that QR code, not just to see the post that details our approach to rosters, but also just to join the community and.
Also,
see
I'm
everything
kind of
that's
shocked that
And
Josh is
I
doing
think
this
these
like live.
Constablers are a good example as well for like
Doing
when you
anything
as
live
another
like
faction
this is fucking
capture
scary,
territory.
'cause there's so many
Say
things
you're
that can
playing
go
as Poland, you capture parts of the HRE. That's really where you get some
Bretonnia
of the vibe.
rework?
Or the,
You
the
think
local
Bretonnia
fashion
would have
across,
these
where one of the things we're
nicely
really
armored
keen on
gentlemen
is
on foot?
pronouncing regional
Heresy.
fashion differences in armor. There's a
Josh
great
said
video
each game
by
would be
a
roughly
YouTube
15
channel,
minutes. Yeah, it'll be
Lorica
roughly 15
Design, I
minutes
think
to
it's called.
every.
Really highlighting
game.
like the fashion differences
But
between Italian and German
Keep in mind
styles
that it
and,
is live. It's a
this
live
is-
stream,
That's
so it
what I
won't
love
be
about this approach,
exact.
because it's the replayability value as well. When you play
Yeah.
maybe the same faction, you take it in a different way,
Yeah.
interact with different cultures, different regions, decide to expand in a different
Tony
way.
needs horses on foot.
You will have a
Ah,
different
yeah,
experience in
you're
terms
right.
of the
That is
roster
the
and the units
missing.
that are exposed to you.
That is the
I
missing
think it makes it feel
angle
far
for the
more,
faction.
integrated part of the world that living kind of world.
I saw Medieval Kingdoms 1212 in the chat as well, saying that they'll have a think about have a consult with their team about the accuracy, but they thought it looked great there. Are we ready to
good.
show our third
Yep.
unit?
Yep.
So this
Third
is the
unit.
last unit we have for the stream, and then we've got a couple of other little bits.
Yep.
It's an iconic unit.
Yeah, I mean, it's of course the Imperial Knights of
those
the
look
Empire.
really cool.
Sort of the thing you look forward to the most, to finally recruiting.
Those look
It's a
really
little bit
cool.
more elaborate in that forum post that these units are really having different.
Those are some
equipment
armored
upgrades through the
lads.
centuries that evolve the unit. You're looking here at a more later era version of the Imperial Knights, showcasing some of the things that are talked about, like the iconic armor fashion within the German region, with the Kastenbrust, which was more pronounced on the left, and then after Toby's feedback, we built in a lot more
Kastenbrust.
variation, some of the more slimmer designs with these
Oh look, Bretonian foot knights. Ah, finally.
these rifts, not rifts,
Yeah.
Rifts, yeah.
sort of
Ridges.
Ridges, yeah, thank you.
Contours.
Contours, downwards one. So, and I would expect that the heavy knights from the different geographies
Have they
would
showed
really
Warhammer yet? No,
carry a lot
so
of
you can
that
see the
regional
bar
fashion,
and
our
around
goal
here.
is that they would look very
We're in
different
Medieval
from
3.
heavy
We're going in order,
Italian
so we're
knights,
starting
for
with
example,
historical,
argument.
then we're doing Warhammer Fantasy,
Something
then we're
you
doing
mentioned,
Warhammer
accuracy,
40k,
something that's
and then
worth
there's a
calling
community
out as
inbox,
well.
which I think is
in
with
that forum
the
post, we
the
cover
big
a little
man
bit our
himself,
approach.
the
So how do
VP.
we actually
Yep.
conduct the research? What are our we list some sources with regards to our research. So yeah, we kind of lift the veil a little bit on that
So much like
process.
the Building Medieval 3 streams, if you want to get involved and talk more
Yep.
about what you've seen here,
Yep.
go to the forums. There's plenty of opportunity to do. I think, Life, you've written up a very, very long
Yeah.
post detailing
Exactly.
the-
And
the
if you're
longest
curious,
one,
how
Tony's
did we
wish they had
arrive
armor
at
that
these
good? That's true.
designs? Well,
Yep.
the process.
There's
is
also
there,
not
the
nearly
the
enough, like,
references,
cloth.
the
So
sources
consider
there.
this the 20-minute section, the short version
Yes, yep,
of our
yep.
approach to rosters.
I think that it's also something where we really look forward to some feedback and thoughts from
Yep.
the community about this approach, moving away from the faction roster and more to almost like a regional roster, cultural rosters, if you will.
Yep. Dynamic role.
And
I
then,
will say
of course, if
I
there are any,
like
let's say,
very
cultural,
much that the
iconic
roster is dynamic.
formations that people
So
definitely
it's
wanna
not
see,
like, oh, I'm
it's
playing
great
Holy Roman
feedback on
Empire,
the
so
role.
I'm locked into a singular
So
roster for my
I think we're going to be
playthrough.
moving on to questions now.
But
there's one question I can see from the community.
Instead, you're
which
able
was,
to adapt
how
your
many of
roster
the
based
team
on what
working
cultures
on
you've
Medieval
integrated,
3
which is
are
really cool.
very familiar with Medieval 2 and understand, why it's still considered so great.
I think we talked about this in the first stream, right? That
Yeah.
a lot of our team are, let's say, big fans of the old games. Not many as
Why do
grew
I
up in
look
them.
perpetually
Two of
angry?
us have.
I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
Nick and
I guess
yeah,
it's just my
Nick-
face.
Yeah.
But definitely a lot of
I don't
fans of Med 2 and some other historical games, of course.
I'm focused.
And a
I'm
lot of,
concentrated.
let's say, hobby historians. I think we mentioned this before as well. Like,
I'm
Oscar,
gonna grab something real quick.
he's
I can still hear it.
definitely like really
I got my
invested
headphones.
into the era. Luke, of course, and a lot of others.
We
That being said-
have fans of Med 2 that played Med 2.
Yeah.
Pretty
Really,
good.
like
Yeah.
I think
as
we all are,
before
yeah.
joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah, as well.
You joined me on my famous Let's Play where we failed the
Yep.
Crusade on the last turn. Okay, so we're going to move on to some community
Okay.
questions just so we can keep. We've only got 2 minutes left, and we're definitely going
gosh.
to take more than 2 minutes.
We got
We're going
2
over
minutes
time.
left.
So you guys flagged this yesterday in that we wanted to start off answering one of the biggest questions from the last stream, which was what's the progress on ladders.
Yep.
You guys, we said we're going to give you in development rough,
Even
rough
Yeah.
footage,
historical,
Doesn't
and
get rougher than
can't,
this.
they can't
we
escape the
live up
butt
to our
ladders.
promises. So this is already even since the last
Oh,
stream, right?
look
the
at
This
Look
is
at
hot off the
the
press from
alpha
yesterday. So
footage.
this you're seeing the zero iteration 0 of carried ladders, and it shows how early this is. But yeah,
Look,
there
they're
we go.
sliding.
This is progress since the last stream. In terms
It's
of
still
ladders.
I like
better
it when
than a
they start
butt
to
ladder.
dance.
They're
Yeah.
slide. Look at
A
them
big shout
sliding
out
so
to
aggressively.
Ali and Matteo who are currently working on this. And I think the sort of
I like
hey,
how there's
a
one
stream is
guy
about
on the
what we're
left
currently
side.
working on.
Well,
this is
they're
something
like,
everyone
Hans,
cares a lot about. We are just
well, the
working on
Hans-
this. Or starting to work on this.
Sorry, he's not on the
show
left
where we're at.
side. They have speared that man with the
You know,
ladder.
if people are wondering, like, why is this such a big topic? There's of course lots of micro and macro challenges around ladders.
Yep.
Starting from the animation connection, like how they're holding it, how they're carrying it,
Yep.
how are entities starting to pick up the
Oh
ladder.
my God! It's
How are
the
they
siege
pathfinding whilst
rework.
holding
Yeah.
a ladder around various obstacles?
What happens
through
if a
obstacles?
unit gets
Yeah.
attacked while holding a ladder? So a lot of, it's not necessarily unknowns, but
Poor
a lot
Hans,
of
man.
nitty-gritty stuff
And-
we have to work.
And this
I know
speaks to,
he needed
a
money
common
for his
theme that you'll
family,
hear from
but
us,
turning
and we
him
mention
into a
time and time
turning
again,
him
but this is,
into
yes,
a
we've
ladder
had
was fucking
carried ladders
diabolical.
in Medieval 2. That's a long time ago. We are rebuilding.
Oh,
a lot of
man, look at the
core
city.
features from the ground up in the Walker engine. So things that may have existed in
Yep.
past Total Wars no
March
longer do.
5th update.
And we have to re-engineer and rework them. Within the context of the the
I
new
I
engine.
really
And
really
these are
like how
challenging things.
open they're
Yeah.
being with
Well,
the
so I'm going to fire at you then.
development
We've got 5 questions, and then we'll wrap things up. Some of these very quick. Will you be keeping the debug cam that allows you to see inside towers and keeps? Before you answer, I'll just caveat where these came from.
Yep.
We trawled through the last stream and the
I wanna
previous
hit that
Building
cathedral
Medieval
with a big
3
rock.
stream. We found some of the most
I
common
want a big
questions from
rock the
those.
fuck
That's
out
what
of
I'm
that
pitching at you
cathedral.
guys. So,
Oh,
will you keep
wow,
the
look at
debug
that.
camera that allows you to see inside towers and keeps, which is, I think, the camera on screen right now?
Yes. So this isn't. Yeah. The intention is that this isn't a debug camera. This is the intention. We want to show you inside the towers. And
That's
what we
super
ship will
cool.
be
You're gonna
a
be
more
able to see
refined
inside
version
the
of what we're
buildings?
seeing here.
Yep.
So it's definitely our intent.
We showed this internally at a larger meeting a while ago, and
I think they're making some pretty good
one of our,
progress.
directors and franchise came up and said, "Oh, this is so cool! This reminds me of the old medieval books as a child. Opening it up and seeing through. Right?
Yep.
This is exactly the vibe we're going for here, and ideally, visually, we could get some
They
of
should
that.
just
treatment
release
where
Medieval
feels
3
like,
as it
okay,
is.
you're
Oh, what could go
weaving
wrong?
away essentially
What could
a
go
layer
wrong?
and you look within. But yeah, the goal is to keep that view.
Yes, for sure.
Next up, I think we have a question we saw maybe once or twice. Are there any plans for naval battles?
Yes, this is definitely a topic that keeps coming up. It's something that we know that our fans are really keen to have in the game. It's something that we absolutely would like to see in Medieval 3. So it's not really a question of if, more of a question of when.
Yeah.
Okay,
As I mentioned
so
previously, we are
eventually
rebuilding,
naval
a
battles
lot
are
of
coming
the
to Medieval
kind of
3.
features from the ground up. So naval battles, as we remember from Thrones, no longer exist in the engine. So it's something that we have to rebuild. And our focus currently is on the core of the experience. It's the land battle gameplay. It's the campaign gameplay. So at the point when sieges, of course, yes. So at the point when naval can kind of stand up to those in terms of quality, then yes, they'll find a place, even if that means after release. But it is
Okay,
definitely something
so
we'd like to see in
naval
Medieval
coming
3.
I guess
eventually.
it's as we've seen on the
Naval's
the
coming
streams
back.
as they've been so far. There's a focus on if we're adding in a feature, it's to be intentional and to have depth to it. We wouldn't want to add in loads of
That's
features at a shallow
exciting.
level. It's making sure the ones that we have really
Another
feel like
wretched
good.
joins the red host.
Seeing what
Cursed
kind of
Sotek
combinations
spawn.
can we get done in the time to the quality that we intend. So this is what all of this is about.
Portugal.
So-
That's not a real place.
A quicker answer maybe for the last three. Not that those were long, more that we've spoken a very long time overall. Can you explain why it's mechanically so hard to path your units through narrow streets, and what steps have you taken?
Well, it's sort of similar to ladders a little bit, where if you think about all of our entities, they essentially pathfind themselves, right? So they have to synchronize among themselves.
They have collision, they have mass, they have animations that all have to interact with them, each other and everything else.
Yeah, and then you might have situations where, okay, it's getting attacked on one side, how are the other entities within that unit now pathing along that corner? So it's, again, more of like an engineering and animation challenge that is just takes time to work through.
Yeah, it's resolving the interaction of the
Look,
entity
fishmen!
collisions and
They're
the
coming out of
collisions
the
of
ocean. It's
environment,
fishmen!
and doing that with at
Right
scale
there!
with lots of entities. The
They're right
tighter the
there!
gap, the trickier that is for the kind of systems to actually navigate in a way that doesn't cause blobbing or doesn't cause any of this kind of these congestions that we've seen before. So it's definitely a technical challenge.
They even got blue skin, just like I
I will
imagined.
throw,
It's
I
not
think, just one
clothing,
last question
that's
at you
their
then,
skin.
which is the, are you aiming for castle sieges alongside cities?
It's something that we're currently looking at, yes. So it's as with everything else, we don't know if it's going to work. It's something we'd like to investigate.
If they had a dynamic difference between a castle siege and a city siege, that would be
spaces,
fucking
and more all in one. So it's it's something that we're exploring. We're not sure if we can.
That would
make it
be
work
really,
yet,
really
but
nice.
It's definitely something we're looking at.
That being said, just this morning, we had a good design discussion actually around castle sieges, looking into, let's say, different versions of it.
That would be a really nice way for Medieval 3 to like show itself off as like, oh look, we're really well done. It's like, oh, not only do we have a fully developed siege system, we have two developed siege
all about the
systems.
lines and the tree, and sieges are of course about the walls and the streets. How can
We had that in Medieval 2?
get
Yeah,
sort of
but that's
really
like from a
unique
gajillion years ago.
twist on the formula.
That works in the context of the campaign and the armies that you field. So all of those things that we have to take into account. But again, that's the beauty of pre-production. We get to experiment with these things, and see what sticks.
Fantastic.
Historical
well, thank you
fans,
both so much
how
for
are
coming
y'all
on and
feeling
talking
about
through that.
Medieval
I have one
3?
last question for you, which is a question I will be
Optimistic?
asking every single
Hopeful?
developer guest we have on.
Worried?
When will we
Unimpressed?
be hearing from you next?
Excited?
June. So look out for a blog.
Yep.
We're
okay,
prepping
there's gonna be a major
that,
blog for
hopefully will have
mid-3 in
some
June.
exciting stuff in there.
That's pretty.
for
That's
everyone.
coming up pretty
And
quick.
then we're looking to stream again. Stream campaign. Likely campaign in June.
Brilliant.
They're gonna
Well, I'm gonna
stream
throw
campaign
a
in June. Damn.
Summary
all right.
screen of everything we've just said. You'll see there's no camera here, so you two are free to skedaddle now. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks, everyone.
Josh is like,
Thank
"Dude,
you.
Cheers.
we're on
When we
schedule.
come
Get
back,
out.
we're going to have a
Fuck
new
out."
guest and a new topic of conversation. But as a summary there, you can see everything we've just discussed.
All right, so the
this
forum
page is going
post
to
for Medieval
grow as
3
we go
is
through our
up on the
topics.
forums if
But
you want
in
to
the
get a
meantime,
more
as our
detailed
guest
look at everything
gets
they just
seated,
went into.
and avoids just the numerous hanging things we have from the ceiling.
All right, I'm seeing a lot of
I'm gonna ask if they're good.
really positive response.
They're good to go? Okay, let's move on to
Optimistic in
Rome
5
2.
years. I suspect this will be much quicker than 5 years, but Rome 2. Wow, that was so
Welcome,
fast,
Jack.
dude.
This is maybe the... Oh, is the... Wow, we've solved the echo. The TV that we've been using had audio on.
Back onto it. It's like, TV speaking.
I can't believe we
They
figured
had
that
they
out. I
had
can't
their
believe the audio
own
was on.
stream on television in the
Welcome,
room.
Jack. So, this is the kind of the surprise of the announcement of this stream. We've spoken before
Jack
about
is looking
we want to go back and
slick in
update
that
some of
baby
the
blue
historical
suit.
titles. What is the aim? So, surprise, I guess it's you.
Yeah, so what
who's,
is-
at
what
least
is
for Rome
this?
2, if not more, heading up that initiative? What's the aim of going back and of these updates?
So, yeah, really fun. I have a new role within Creative Assembly of being the back catalogue product owner for Total War, which is very much managing all of our older historical titles, looking at opportunities with them, including, where possible, making updates.
Yep.
The first of these is Rome 2. And here, it's the goal of having some
Interesting.
free updates to the game. that
So they're going to
include
be updating
battle gameplay,
not
campaign
just Rome
gameplay,
2, but
doing some
more of the
visual
back
improvements
catalog.
as well as some bug fixing that I'm
Bug
calling
fixes?
the Pantheon updates.
Nice.
That all come together as a nice big thing.
So this isn't
I
going
can
back
already
and
see
making
the
the
3K
DLC.
fans going,
Right? It's going back and
Bug
it's
fixes
providing
updates.
gameplay updates, bug fixes.
Yeah, definitely some bug fixes in there. it's not new content. Some of the changes, particularly in campaign, will change some of the content there, but it's very much using the existing building
Okay, so
blocks.
it's not a
There's no new
DLC.
units, no new
It's updates
actions,
to
no
the
new campaigns,
game
no
to
new
make
So
it.
we're refining
free
the game
content.
that's there.
It's
right?
refining the game. It's
And
not
I think
a
maybe
DLC.
the second surprise for people then is this isn't an update.
Yeah, it is multiple. So the way
Oh,
this is
wow,
planned
look at
is
that.
that it will be a public beta that grows over time before
Yeah.
fully releasing to everyone. So we'll start with Mars.
Okay,
with
so it's going to be
improvements
kind of
to
like the
battle
Siege
gameplay.
beta. So
This
it's
is covering things like
a
making,
3-part update
morale,
series that will
flanking
have
and
public
terrain more
betas.
important, improving the armor and damage formula, bug fixes.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Then Venus, which is on visuals, which will include updates to campaign textures, improving the lighting, water textures in campaign.
Any
A
Rogue
UI
2
reskin
friends
inspired
or
by
any Rogue
painted walls of
2
Roman villas.
lovers in
And then
chat?
finally Jupiter, which is Chief of Roman gods, so it's the campaign gameplay. So big
Yeah.
improvements there. Big focus is on making the gameplay systems remain relevant throughout the game. So
This
with
is
Iron
really
2,
nice.
and
So
you play
it's
it,
not
quite
even
easy
it's not
after
paid
initial 30,
content.
40
It's
turns.
a free
So here it's about
DLC.
making sure that
Free
public
DLC
order and
overhauls and
relevant throughout,
updates
replenishment
to
range
the old historical
relevant throughout, and
games.
that there's a
And they're
progression
starting with
and
Rome
challenge
2.
going forward.
Yeah,
So
that's really
improving
nice.
Building trees,
That's
making tech
really,
trees more
really nice.
impactful. Lots of gameplay improvements there. And the aim is that we'll start with Mars as a public beta, and then after a period of time, Venus will get added to it, then Jupiter, and then finally it will all go live for everyone as the Pantheon update.
Jack, you're a very lovely, soft-spoken man. I'm not, so you may have to
Okay.
speak a little louder,
Bit
just
louder.
just to match my
Gotcha.
level of
You've got a baby blue suit.
constant
but
noise.
You
So
can't be using a baby
I've got
blue
two questions
voice.
before we move. We're going to show some stuff, right? But how are you approaching mods? That's maybe the number one question I've seen from the community when we announced this.
Absolutely. We know many people are playing mods on Rome 2, a lot of very popular mods out there, a lot of people get a lot of value out of them. Well aware that coming back to the game, doing these big updates is going to cause problems with mod compatibility.
Yeah.
So first off, that long public beta and a single update, it means there is one occasion where the mods are being broken for everyone, because it will be big data changes.
Yeah.
But also that longer beta means more time as well for
You're
modders who are
talking
still
over
active
his
to
talking, and I can't understand
get hold
anything.
of the changes
Why
ahead of
would you
time, start
come
preparing the mods to be out
to the reaction stream
And then for mods, of course, they won't be updated.
Where there's
'cause
another
mods
guy
have moved
talking.
on, they're not active anymore.
And
We're
then
gonna
be
have a
like,
pre-Pantheon
why is
version
that
of the game
guy
available as a
talking?
beta once that update goes out. So if you've got an older mod you still want to
You
play,
can open their
go
version
back
of the
to
stream
older
and just
version
turn
of the
me
game,
down.
Play it for as long as you want.
So the game that exists today,
You have
you'll
the
always
power.
be able to play.
Yeah.
But you can, if you choose, opt into the or play the newer versions, and then modders who want to come and update, they have the opportunity to do so. My last question then is, what depth are we going to be able to discuss today?
So today we're going to look at a brief snippet of each of the updates, focusing mostly on Mars, then a bit of Venus, then a bit of Jupiter.
Cool.
But there is a lot of lovely information now on the forums that is ready for people to dive into as well.
Fantastic. So let's start off with
This
Mars,
is a very
right?
nice.
So we're just going to cover a few
pro-consumer
bits from the update
Yeah.
today, but as you've just said, on that link, you've put up is it a whole forum or a forum post? Or
There-
both?
Both. So there is now a Pantheon update section of the Rome Eras forum, where in that main one there's a long post detailing the overall purpose of the updates,
Yeah.
like
What am I looking
what
at
the
here?
goal of them is, why we're returning to Rome 2, and details of each of the different updates like Mars, Venus, Jupiter, and then there's sub forums for each of the different updates of
Yes.
Mars, Venus, Jupiter, where there's a little summary again of what's in them, and then a more detailed post in each area.
Yeah.
Which I'll come back to, because that's sort of what we're talking about today.
Yes, so battle is quite a difficult one for us to show visually. So you've spoken about flanking, morale, fatigue,
Yeah.
damage, armor. This one, so what we've got here is unit spacing, right?
Yeah, so as part of improving battles, I wanted to look at how to improve readability as well and help with that recognition of units from a distance.
Yep.
So at the top is 3 Celtic units
will
in the game
say,
right now. You've got Levy Freeman
The
on the left,
bottom, the units
then
are
Spear
much more
Warriors in the middle,
distinct.
Spear Nobles on the right. And the only unit you can really tell that's different is the Levy Freemen, because they're bare-chested.
Yeah.
They stand out from distance. The Spear Warriors, the Spear Nobles, you can't really tell them apart. So what's being done with the Pantheon updates is across all different unit types, there is now sort of a basic, a standard, and elite variation in the spacing of the units.
That's
So you can see
really
at the bottom,
nice.
the Levy Freemen are very quite spaced out. They're much more varied in their spacing. The Spear Warriors are a bit mixed, and then the Spear Nobles are much more uniform in their position. So just at a distance, you can more easily see, oh, those guys are a bit disorganised. They're probably some cheap chaff units. Oh, those guys, they're really organised. I should probably be worried about them. Just that extra bit of recognition at a distance.
Which is something we see in more modern Total War titles, right? The
And also older ones as well,
Yeah.
right? That was something that was in true in the original Rome. whereas here it wasn't in Rome 2 at first, and now it can be done.
Yep.
It's something mods have done as well at times, but now bringing it into the main game.
So we can talk about damage formula if you're interested.
Yes, this is going to get
For those of you who love
slightly
charts,
technical. So, armor and damage. How it works right now is a little odd. So you look at something like melee attack versus melee defense, and it is a linear change.
Yeah.
As your melee defense goes up, chance of anyone hitting you goes down linearly.
Huh.
Armor, not really, as you can see from the chart. It sort of curves and tails off a bit.
Yeah.
Because there's two aspects to damage and armor. You've got base damage and you've got armor piercing damage. Base damage can be negated by armor, but armor piercing damage can't.
Yeah.
But the way armor negates damage is that you take the unit's damage armor value, so say it's got 60, and you do a dice roll between 0 and 60. And then whatever that value is, because it could be 0, it could be 60, it could be 12, it could be 38. You take that away from base damage. So sometimes you'll take off part of the unit's base damage, sometimes you get rid of all of it, sometimes you get rid of none. So it's quite varied. But then armor piercing damage doesn't get affected by armor at all. So there's always some base amount always going through. And that means you end up with that chart that, like, towards the end, as you get more and more armor, it's just getting a much greater range of what the armor is doing. So it's just not as nice and consistent that better armor gives you better protection.
I mean, the top chart looks more like a corrupt tax bracket rather than something understandable. So I guess we spoke about how hard it is to visualize battle changes, right? But I guess the vibe you're going for is that
really
battles
solid
feel
change
more
to make your
authentically
units
understandable.
perform
You've got
much
more armor,
more
you're going to
consistently.
take less damage, unless there's armor piercing involved and blah blah blah. Whereas before, it's the systems underlying it actually weren't as predictable or as understandable as they felt.
Yeah, because we always like to have some randomness in our battles, just because, one thing we've always tried to do is, like, even the basic peasant has a chance maybe to kill a king. So we allow a bit of randomness for that, but we want it to be predictable randomness, as it were.
Yeah.
So with the changes,
I think that's a good change.
it's twofold. So armor is no longer a straight numerical reduction to damage.
Sorry, just what are the axes here?
Oh, sorry. So down the
They didn't label
left
their axes.
I can't remember which is the X and the Y. I should know that, but I don't. The left axis is average damage done, and on the right is armor value. So you can see that as the armor goes up, it's a linear decrease in the after.
Oh yeah.
It's not exactly linear because this is based on 10 simulated damage rolls.
Right.
So there's a bit of randomness in
Right,
damage
yeah,
rolls. But if it was like, if you did enough rolls,
It
would
perfect,
be
yeah.
perfectly linear. So what we've done is armor is now a modifier to damage. So let's take that 60 armor unit, right? Instead of it being a roll between 0 and 60, it rolls between half the armor and the full armor, so between 30 and 60. It then converts it into a multiplier to damage. So you roll the full 60, you're doing a 60% reduction to the base damage you're taking. If you roll 30, it's a 30% reduction. Nice and simple. So that means you get a nice linear increase, makes damage more relevant.
Yep.
Armor piercing damage now is also now affected by armor. So same thing, armor becomes a modifier, but here it's half the impact it has on regular base damage. So you get that 60%
Interesting. So
reduction to
armor
your base
piercing
damage.
no longer
It's only a 30%
purely
reduction
cuts
to your
through
armor piercing
armor.
damage.
It just
Again,
gets
armor piercing still got a lot of
reduced
use.
less than regular damage.
And a lot of these values will also be
Man,
possible
armor
for
is
the
gonna be
modders to play
way
on the database.
more-
Like, what is the max reduction armor?
way
can
more
have on
impactful
damage.
then.
There's still a base damage value in there just to allow for those situations.
Like high armor is going to be so
There's
much
also
more
some changes talked
valuable.
about in the forum post.
Well,
in addition
especially
to
like
this,
medium
of the
armor.
Addition of the critical hit
It's
system
probably
from
going to be more like
thrones.
medium armor is
Which
going to be
is
a lot
A
more
really beloved
impactful.
system.
Yeah, so it just allows for that, that chance of like the arrow in the eye,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So that even from the first volley, you're seeing regular soldiers dying, and then there's more predictable patterns of rate of casualty.
And I think that's where we're seeing some of the, it's not content, but some of the stuff coming in that's beloved or favourite features from more modern titles being able to come back into Rome 2 through stuff like that.
Yeah, because I think an important point to make as well is that the
Oh crap,
working on the
Space Marines
updates
are going to be
is
broken,
me.
aren't they?
it is a team of one.
Who
So
knows?
Rome 2 has one of its advantages is that there are many products afterwards that I can look at and bring back certain
I don't think they'll be
changes,
too bad.
critical hits from thrones.
Yeah.
Some of the bug fixes we're doing in battles are taken from Attila. With the visuals, you see stuff taken from other games. And it
As
really-
we will see momentarily.
yeah, so it really maximizes what the impact I can have as a single developer.
So, are there any other changes you'd want to talk about before we wrap up Mars?
Should that come
And
to
give a
Warhammer?
sneak peek
I
of what the
wouldn't
other
be
two
against
updates
it.
would look like?
just to say that the real focus on
I'll
Mars
leave
is
that
about
to more technical
increasing
folks
the
like
points of
Turin or
tactics, terrain,
Anticity to
flank,
figure
and
that
making
shit
so
out. If that would be a good change
great
for
like you might
fantasy.
sometimes like Shogun 2 or Attila or Three Kingdoms.
And those of you who, I think for me, the most I'm looking forward to, and we'll do another deep dive at some point in the future where we go through these more. But for me, flanking, I think is the big one.
Currently,
When we
this
did
is
the
just
Rome
a
2
change to
stream,
Rome 2.
flanked, and Pav went,
Though
that does
apparently
nothing.
they're planning to
I was
move
like,
through
why
more
have
of their
I
back
all
catalog.
this work?
Yo, Tariff,
It's
what's
going to
up?
be all
How you
that.
doing, man?
For me, when I've read through the updates, because obviously we shared this already with some experienced players, and we got their feedback on it. They seemed very receptive. So thank you to everyone who participated in that.
Absolutely.
For me, I think it is stuff that things that I thought worked or were happening now will happen and now will work, which is fantastic.
I mean, to be fully honest, a lot of these are changes that I made in Emperor Edition that I'm now reverting or changing in different ways. So
There's
so
time and learning.
it's time and learning. It's refining it and making it a better game.
So when are we next going to hear about Mars?
So Mars, there will be posts on the forums
Yep.
over the coming months going into details in various areas. So one already on the armor and damage changes. Next, possibly talking about changes to charge reflection or expert charge defense. But on stream, probably June, we're looking at. Things are going to be flexible in time.
Oh, wow. Okay,
We're
so
gonna have a very
Rome
sneak peek
2
at Venus
streams
then,
in
but
June as
I will
well.
say next time we bring on a chart, I will make sure I don't.
So
crop
we've
up
got
the
Medieval
vaccines. Okay,
3
so this is Venus, and this is a taste of some of the
updates in
visual
June.
improvements.
Rome 2
so
updates in June.
Venus, its main visual improvements are the UI reskin, which is not ready to be shown yet, and the campaign textures, lighting, and the seas as well. So when we go back to the before, you will see how Rome 2 is now. Where certainly some aspects hold up quite well despite its age, but there's other bits like the water doesn't look great nowadays, some of the textures don't look great, with the lighting, the settlements, the characters can blend in a bit
Oh,
more.
yeah, that looks
And
way
now,
nicer.
brand new sea texture, redone sea colour, brought back better
Like,
textures
that's a
from
nice
Troy and
before
Pharaoh,
and after.
the game,
It's
got those
not
lovely
super
games like Adventure.
dramatic, but
And I
it's
will note,
very
they're the same
noticeably
resolution of textures, so they won't have any performance impact. The lighting's been changed just to give a more consistent feel, better contrast.
Helps
so
the
Oh,
city
God,
stand
the
out as
lighting
well.
yeah,
looks
exactly. That's one of the
so
big ones.
much
Like, one of the things
better.
that I like to do is look
The
at
lighting and the
game
ocean
grayscale.
looks, like,
what happens when you
dramatically
remove the
better.
colour, what stands out.
Yeah.
Because you want to make sure that, sure, the UI, this is without UI, so you can have UI labels, highlighting things, but you still want the characters and the armies and the settlements to stand out even without that going on. You know? Especially when I think we go from the after to the before, you can really
I
see
forgot
the
to add
difference.
a fade, and that not adding that fade really helps emphasise the
Yeah,
difference,
it's
especially in the lighting. Any second.
Yeah, this is the awkward wait.
There we go.
Yeah, you can see the difference.
All right, so we've got, I think, about 5 minutes to talk through two more bits. So we're going to give a little preview of Jupiter.
Yes.
Jupiter's, it looks to be quite expansive on the campaign side.
Oh.
So even now we've got, we're not going to go too deep into these, but we'll explain like the philosophy behind them of two building trees, which up until today I've been calling tech trees, and Jack has increasingly been patient with me. I've just said it over and over again.
So, building trees. The aim here is sort of basically going, Emperor Edition made some key changes to building trees, where prior to Emperor Edition, temples could only go up to level less than in major settlements and minor settlements. There were differences between major and minor settlements in other ways. There wasn't many choices,
These are
so we tried
words
to equalise that
and
out.
Yeah.
But this is
Arrows,
basically going,
I
we didn't go far enough
vaguely
in Emperor
understand.
Edition.
Yeah.
So one of these, for example, would be the military trees, where currently, Rome 2, you have separate chains for recruitment and bonuses, which is fine, but it does mean that you need to choose a different slot to do it, and because your training chain, the one that gives you more bonuses to your unit types, is a separate chain, you're not getting as much from it. So one of the things that's been done is combining the two and extending. So you'll see that before it's up to level 4, now it's up to level 5. Important thing that barracks will do from now on is they will not just give you units, they'll give you recruitment slots, because I'm looking at reducing the base level recruitment slots. Like turn 1 as Rome at the moment, you get something like 7 units available at a time. It's a bit much. But it also give you army cap, because the army cap, agent cap, navy caps increases from Imperium are moving on to the building tree. So if you want more armies, build a barracks.
Yeah. That makes sense, right? You've got to have something
Exactly.
to
So as you go through
that's
this, the top 2 branches of this tree,
That's some
you
good
get different
changes.
units. So it's got still the manipular barracks, the auxiliary one. So give you regular Roman units.
That's
with
nice.
auxiliary
I mean,
units.
making their
Some units will
equivalent
be
to tech
moved
tree
from the barracks
focus
chain
more
vote
like
to
a
the settlement,
deeper
just to help
varied
the AI out. So it's
experience
got a bit more varied.
instead of a
weapons
taller
you can
one. I think that's
recruit
good.
without even having a barracks available. And then if you want to, you can choose to specialise this chain more into buffing your units, the practice field. So it'll still give you your increased army cap, it'll still give you increased recruitment slots and the units you've got from that basic Field of Mars. But then...
Dom, our TV's going to turn off.
No.
Now keep going. Not that one, not that one. That one.
That one. And then, so the practice field will then give experience bonus to units, and it will give you champions, because this is where champion
not that one.
increase.
Yeah.
And then further, you can choose to specialise into bonuses and different unit types. So range for ranged units, the horse corral for cavalry,
That's
and
great.
the practice castrum for melee infantry units. So that has decreased slightly the variations, but
Yeah.
I want to give it like clearly ranged cavalry infantry bonuses.
So we'll look at one more set of these,
Yep.
and then I have seen some questions. I don't know
This
if you
is
have an
very
answer. I've seen quite a few
smooth
questions
for a
asking
live
about
stream.
64-bit.
Like,
Unfortunately, not on the table. Like we know it's one people are looking for, would like, especially people who use mods where they're making more use of video memory, but it's not part of these updates.
That's good to know. So what are we looking at here?
So this is one where combined and then split. So in the base game of Rome 2, when it launched, there was this city centre chain in major settlements that did both trade income and public
like
order and entertainment.
considering this is
and
all live,
research
this is
and slaves
very, very well
one.
done.
Yeah.
And then for Emperor
This
Edition,
is
we said
very well done.
we added a town centre chain for minor settlements that gave some trade income and some public order and some entertainment. But they're both
So take now you
doing
jinxed it.
variations
No,
the same,
don't
and
say
also
that.
that's a lot of different
Knock
things
on
for
wood.
the city centre chain to do. So
Knock
here,
on wood right now.
it's combining and then splitting. So there's
Warhammer
our
is next. They
public forum
cannot
chain
fuck
and
up the
market
stream now.
chain
Knock on
available
wood.
in
You
both
piece of
major
shit right
and minor
now.
settlements. So big change is that generally major minor settlements they can build the same thing now.
Yeah.
Peasant!
Different number of slots, but same options.
Peasant!
Yeah,
So the forum chain is all about entertainment, public order. So that top two ones, you've got Auditorium and an Odeon. Then it splits into one
Oh
chain
yeah,
that
dude.
focuses,
Games Workshop
specialises
would
a bit more
never.
in income.
Like, if this
one
had been Games
specialises
Workshop,
a bit
we would
more
have had
public
triple
order. This is the kind
echoes
of branches
with
you're
the
going to see
mic
more,
cutting
where
out in and
bonuses are
out
made throughout,
constantly.
but later branches sort of
And like they
specialise
would
in
have been
one or the
showing
other
like
in
Warhammer
matches.
slides during
Then you've still
Medieval
got the
3
library
stuff.
chain as part
That
of
would
this,
that
which
would have
gives
been a
you
GW
research and
tier
will give you
stream.
dignitaries. That's where you can increase your dignitaries cap. And then separately, there's a market chain, which then
Yeah.
splits into three. So you've got a wine trader, which will require the wine resource and give you a lot of money,
Yeah.
but might consume food. Not decided that yet. Then you've got the delicatessen chain.
It was
which will
at
give you
this
a little
moment
food,
that he
but
knew.
less income.
He
And it's
fucked
probably
up.
where spies
Jesus
will come
Christ,
from
I
for the
haven't-
Romans.
Yeah.
And then finally you've got a slave trader, which will give you slave.
Juju, I think that's the
income
first time
and will
anyone's
keep
ever
the
used the
regular
soundboard.
trade income from the lower branches as well. So it's all
That
that
actually frightened me.
clearer
for a
options,
moment.
clearer focus.
I don't know
more
what's
depth
used
to
that in a
change
very
as
long
well.
time.
And that's just a taste. So these last sets were just more of a preview of some of the stuff.
Yeah.
But once we've got Mars out, then we'll come back to Venus, back to Jupiter. We'll come talk to you more. But we wanted to give you guys a taste of just the
No, thank
the
you.
level of
Like,
depth
I
and detail that we're
appreciate
going
the
into
support.
for
I
all of
just
these
wasn't
systems.
thinking Morgan
Like
Freeman in
with
my ear.
Jupiter, if you go on the forums now,
Well then, Jack, when will we hear from you next?
so next will be on the forums with more posts in the run up to in the coming months.
Warhammer time,
Because there's not
Warhammer
currently a
time,
defined
Warhammer
timescale
time,
for when
Warhammer
the
time.
first of these betas will go live.
Yeah.
We want to. It's going to be playing it by ear because a lot of it is work's being done.
Wow,
on
that
the
is
roof,
loud.
so
It's a
stuff is ready.
wah. It's supposed
But
to
we're
be
looking
loud.
at a live stream in June to show Mars and hopefully battle gameplay live.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to throw up the summary then. Hopefully. Thank you very much for coming on, Jack. Really appreciate your time. Everyone
Oh,
loved your
it's
suit.
time! Oh, it's time!
You are free to disappear, and if you can shake the mouse on that PC, we will move on for our next guest.
It's time to the
You're
war!
sitting there, I think, and you're sitting there. So, on the screen now, you can see everything we've spoken about so far on stream. We're going to hope I'm right with where I just told you to sit, because I can't move these names. Okay, we all good? Right. Let's say hello. Hey, I was right.
Rich!
Hello, welcome. Welcome to the stream.
I've had-
a bit of paper.
Many lunches. Oh my god, it's Soy Master of
First time on the sofas. I mean, we've only done 3 streams of it, so that's good. For anyone who doesn't know who you guys are, maybe Rich, you starting. Who are you, and what do you do for Warhammer 3?
I've been here a while. I'm the game director for
Rich.
Total War Warhammer. Working on the series for the
I
last
love Rich.
10
Rich is
years.
a very
Wow.
fun man to chat with.
And Sean?
I'm the associate design director. I've been on the series for a meager 8 years.
Oh,
Embarrassing.
pathetic.
Embarrassing. Apologies.
So we have 3 sections within this section. I did initially try and see if I could get it on that bottom bar, but it was that is graphic designed by me, so that is the height of what I can achieve. So we're going to start by talking about updates to the game, and then we're going to talk about
I'm so
Bashiba,
excited.
and then we're going to talk
I'm
about
so excited.
Lords of the End Times, and I'm so consciously not trying to
Oh my
say
God!
the name
I see
of the
Loremaster at the
person
bottom
that
left
will
of the
be
screen.
revealed
He's
at the
there. He's
start.
right there.
Person,
Person.
place, or thing.
Very good.
Thank you. I'm doing
Somehow
my best.
Soytech
So
returned.
we're going to start talking about campaign.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem too sure about that.
There we
Okay,
go.
there we go.
So campaign AI update.
Hey,
Yeah,
campaign
we're doing
AI.
lots of
Okay,
updates to those
8.1.
things.
Okay, so we're getting this before
The
Bashiba.
campaign AI specifically, there's been some tooling going on in the background, so that's going to help us address some of the issues that players have been seeing around idling AI and clustering around settlements.
Okay.
So that will be coming.
More aggressive
soon.
AI.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we've tried to. We know that a lot of these things. So we'll be doing it again with the Siege update next. A lot of these things, the community are. We've explained a lot of what we're doing while we're doing it. We
Siege
want to start giving
update!
you guys some dates and
Oh wait, no,
update these
Bashiba
numbers
is
at least
8.0.
to
Never
be able
mind.
to expect this
You're
in.
right.
So
Sorry,
8.1
this
is the aim
is
for
post
this.
Bashiba. Bashiba's 8.
The key
I
change
for some reason
I
thought it was
wrote,
7.
and that's
So
the first time
Bashiba's
you're seeing
8.0,
it, which
this
was
is
me writing it
8.1.
based on notes. So AI priorities, which have I misspelled?
Yeah.
Slightly.
Well, I can explain.
Go for it.
So basically, over the course of the campaign,
Yeah.
we've now got the controls now to better ask the AI where to spend its focus. So in those longer campaigns, getting them to change up and prioritise other actions rather than sitting and amassing around
Okay,
settlements.
so that's like the clumping.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
interesting.
in theory, they'll be slightly less defensive as time goes
So
on.
the
That's
AI's
right.
priorities will
And
change
it's
over
all-
the course of the campaign.
It's all dynamic. I mean,
Yeah.
we've always had personalities which sort of indicate what different factions want to do.
Yeah.
But that could lead, that makes total sense and looks great in the early game, and it all comes together nicely. And then over time, you might see that the decision making that made total sense earlier on, no longer because of the sheer number of enemies or the number of forces that they've got, or lots of factors, then starts to go,
That's good.
that looks a bit strange to us. And there's been some tweaks to make it a bit more flexible.
Fantastic.
I'm glad that
Anything else
this
you
is
wanna say
more
about
of a
campaign, or
focus
are we
on
on to-
late game
can go to the next
campaign
one.
AI, because that's
So the long-awaited Siege update. We've spoken about a
Siege
lot,
update!
but nice to finally put an update number on it. So 9.1.
Yes.
Look at that Skaven ladder.
What update are we on?
Look at that Skaven
7
ladder.
Something.
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
for people to help understand that, 8 will be, so we update a number
yes.
with a version, right?
That's
So
right.
Is that
with
Zinch or
a release.
Slanesh?
So 8 would be
Bashiva.
and 9 would be
Lord of the End Times.
Okay, so this comes out after
So this
Lords
will
of the
come
End
the
Times.
patch after Lord of the End Times, the campaign update coming the patch after Bashiba.
That's right.
So on screen I've just got some ladders.
Oh, I like all the new
from-
buildings. I like all the
ladders
new
up there.
structures.
It's
That's
great
really
bringing
nice.
those back. I mean, well, I say bringing
Custom
them back.
ladders, let's
new
fucking
for
go.
Warhammer. To me, it feels like bringing them back because experienced them in past Total War games that I've worked on.
Butt
So
ladders are gone.
they're going to be joining the fray for players to
Praise
make
be
use
to
of.
Sigmar.
Removing pocket ladders as the default setting.
God,
Because we know
no
they're
more
not for
pocket ladders.
everybody.
Thank you,
Yeah.
But the
God.
people that do like them, there's still going to be an option setting so you can still have them in the game. So really down
What's
to
written
you,
behind
what
me?
your preference is and
all
how
that's
you
written
want
behind me is that this is
make
coming in
use of,
9.1. So this is coming
sieging with,
after Lords of the End
ladders.
Times.
Fantastic. Sorry, I'm so easily distracted. Are there any other changes since the beta that people should be aware of?
There's a whole host of stuff going in, and like me and Sean were saying earlier, we've been spending the time really looking at what the fantasy we want to have for siege battles in the Warhammer setting.
Yeah.
Got 10 years worth of content now,
Yeah.
so there's all sorts of things that we'd love to play around with, and the betas obviously helped us look at some of that, and we've got some other ideas of our own. But we've been specifically focusing on gate improvements, like the damage dealt to them, making them feel like a solid thing to defend. Looking at towers and the damage output. We've been looking at things like siege attacker trait. Which characters, creatures should have that. Making sure
thank
that
God.
forwards are well supported.
Hopefully they make Siege Attacker
loads of bits and
more
bobs.
rare.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that may not make it as well because it's cutting room floor style of we are trying things out. We want to try and push the boat out. I think we've said this before when we tried to do our larger reworks. Trying to make something that's objectively better for everyone is a bar that is hard to cross every time, and that's why it can take a bit more time to make sure that we go above
For
that.
sieges,
There's lots of things that we're looking at as well that
I am happy
may
for
not
them to
make it in. I don't know if
take
to talk
as
about some of
long
them,
as
but
they
like,
want.
we've spoke about can ethereal units go through walls? Is that something that we can support?
Oh, they're working on
and even
ethereal
just
units.
opening that question needs to go, well, if we want to do that, what's the technical cost of that?
Yeah.
The way our walls are built was never built with that in mind.
No.
So
Honestly,
it's a
I say just
technical
let ethereal
update.
units go
It's
through
a
gates.
what would the implications of that be? Like, what happens if an ethereal unit dies inside a wall? What does it actually do to the game? You know, all those things need to be thought
I'm
all the way
really
through,
excited
and then we
that
make a
they're
decision of,
considering it.
do we go ahead with this and actually commit to it, and resolve those issues? Is it worth doing? Because the fantasy of it would be incredible, but then there's the experience, and that's that objective, better experience bar that we have to cross. Of like, fantasy sounds great.
Yeah.
If it doesn't help the game, though, should we invest in this? Is it going to cause more problems? So we're doing lots of stuff, trying lots of stuff, and hopefully, it all comes together at the most perfect, exciting version we can get.
Help me,
But there
Stuff
should be a
Ghost!
nice,
I'm
a
stuck
nice
in a
grouping of
wall!
content there for 9.1. And then,
Oh no, I'm
like
trapped!
all things in the
See
game,
where it goes from there.
we always want to try and amend and improve.
Fantastic.
Grab
then,
my hips, help
shall
me
we
get
move out of updates? I'll just say to Mr. Reducer, if there's any opportunity to turn up the audio a little bit, even on the mixing decks, thank you. All right, so let's hope these all keep swiping nicely. There we go. So we're back. Logo at the top there. So this is Bashiba. I'm going to give a little bit of a caveat before we go there, because I think the content from here on out for the rest of this stream is a little different. It's a lot more video-y with a few screenshots, but we are going to be showing some things and changes here in a bit of a vacuum. So
I'm really excited.
We're going to talk about the ability all Tiger Warriors get, for example. So there's going to be things in a vacuum, and it may be that there's a particular ability or skill that will need further context for the players to really understand either the value of it or the usage of it, that we will try and give here, but we're not going to be able to do that for absolutely everything. There's only so much time on the stream and only so much time on the planet. So remember that everything you see here is subject to change, doesn't exist in isolation. As we all know, campaign buffs get layered on things. Enemy lords nerfs and debuffs on you get layered on. So everything has layers. And lastly, I did just want to throw out a massive
Let me see the
thanks
strong
to
blur.
Warhammer licensing team. Everything from this part of the stream onwards, we've been doing in collaboration with them, and they've really been supportive in getting all of this ready. So, shall we show Bashiba?
Go on then.
I hope. I hope this is the button I'm going to press. Actually, the next thing I meant to show is Ferocious. If you want to talk about it first, or I think we've teased them if we don't show Bashiba now.
I feel like you.
Let's show Bashiba and then we'll go back one. All right. So there we go. That video is just starting from any point it wants, doesn't it? It will loop.
Look how
so
big
this
she is
Bashiba in
next to
battle.
Skaven.
It will do some live at the end. A really cool set of animations for Bashiba.
Yeah, she's brilliant. She's brilliant. This has been such a
those are
it's a pipe
nobblers, my
dream
bad.
to have a character like her join the fray, come into the game, and she looks awesome. She's. We'll talk about some of her abilities and stuff later on, but just to give you a bit of a background on like who she is.
She fucking teleports.
She is the White Tiger, so that's a position
She
held
teleports
to
like a fucking
both
anime character.
protect
What is she
and
doing?
command the Tiger
No, she's not
Warriors.
large. I'd say she's infantry
in great
size.
times of peril,
She's big for
and
infantry,
when
but she's infantry
chaos
size.
looms large again. She's also a mercenary
look,
lord,
she's
so
got
she's
the-
one of
she's
the
got
lords
the
of Xiangyang, and one of Zhao Ming's finest commanders. So she's got her own Tiger company, which you'll see with some of the units in the pack. But she intersperses that with other Cathay
Blades of Shangyang,
units
Heaven's Gate.
as well. So she leads those forward and
So she's like an
protecting
assassin
caravans along the
character.
Ivory Road and the borders of Grand Cathay.
Magic,
Fantastic.
fire damage.
And I've got so
armor
we will go
piercing,
through some of the
anti-infantry,
abilities, both
dodge,
passive
so she'll
and
have
active
high
there.
physical resistance.
I got some of the stats up on screen. How would it feel? How does it feel to use Bashiba in battle? Then What's the play style
relatively
like?
low. Yes.
So
okay. So
her
she's an assassin.
specifically is
legendary
all about
lord.
going after small entity units.
Yep.
She's quick, she's nimble, she's fast. She likes to stalk her prey. She's a big cat. So yeah, she.
I mean, look,
you might. I don't know if
it's
you've seen-
interesting
yeah, there
that
we go.
she's considered.
She's also got this amazing
She's
ability to
considered a
teleport around the
small
battlefield
entity,
with
so
her,
she's considered infantry size. You can
Heaven's
see
Gate.
her next to the ogre. She's as
And
big
so
as
when
an
she
ogre.
reappears, she strikes and damages everybody around her, but she's super useful for
her animations
jumping into the fray, but
fucking
also when
sick.
she's in a tight spot, getting out of it too.
Yep. And we'll see some of those abilities. This was a far longer video.
I
than
love.
This is a really
love
nice
her
video because I
weapons.
didn't record this one. This is one of the few I didn't record. So that's why it's a much nicer quality than what we'll get into. So we can see on the abilities on the side there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Ferocious Ambush is what all Tiger Warriors are getting. I'm glad you said that because I've got it on its own in the next section for us to talk about.
Okay.
So we can very quickly talk about Ferocious Ambush as just an expectation
Step
of
on me!
that's what the
Step
Tiger
on
Warriors
me!
will have.
Okay.
So what is Ferocious Ambush? What's the intent behind the
Certain
ability?
Tiger Warrior
I mean, the
martial
fantasy
philosophies cannot be
around
practiced
all
outside their
these characters is about
kin.
that
Their innate feral instincts
big
enable,
cat
among other
field,
things, the impossible speeds.
stalking its prey, getting
Bro,
in, roughing
they
people
all
up.
have devastating
So it's very much
flanker.
giving them kind of that vanguard deployment, speed, charge bonuses, all those kind of different things. Sorry, not vanguard deployment on this one, but but that kind of idea and identity.
Getting
to her
butt
now.
charged by a tiger
Yeah,
is gonna
I think the big
fucking
thing about tigers,
suck.
or the literally big thing about
That
tigers,
is-
is
that is
they are
some
much bigger than
beefy
people. You know,
butts
a full
for a
head
charge.
taller
They
than a human. So we really wanted that impact of them on the charge to feel like you've been hit by a 9-foot big cat.
Yeah.
So the idea of Ferocious Ambush does lean into that. It increases their speed, increases their charge bonus, and gives them devastating flanker to
They're
push
gonna
that
hit
charge bonus
so
even
hard
further
on the charge. Oh my
on a
god.
cooldown for bounce reasons and all
Yep.
these things. But it is really to capture that idea that when the tigers charge in, it's a noticeable impact.
Yeah.
And in the Cathay roster, which is much more rank and file with the humans that the Jade Warriors
That's a
and the Special
good
Guard
long
that stand
cooldown
and
though.
hold the
Like
line.
you can't cycle
The
charge
tigers
with
are
them with
charging
this.
in, they're hitting line. You'll see the impact.
Like you want to charge
and
in,
that
but then you've
sometimes
got to
can
wait
win a
over
battle
a
if you
minute,
get that on the
actually
flank, you get that in the
almost
right
2
position.
minutes
That
before
can
they can
win a
they
flank
can
sooner than you
recharge.
want
So
to.
they're
You can
not
reposition
great for cycle
around
charging.
to capture the rest of the
9
enemies.
foot tall, damn.
human-sized cavalry.
Just
then.
the way I
And
like
a
'em.
rear flank charge will do an
Yeah,
absolute
slightly taller
They're
than
a bit
human-sized
bigger,
cavalry.
yeah.
horse-sized cavalry, which I guess is
No.
cavalry.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, go on.
Tier 2 and above as well.
Oh,
So, there you go.
So we'll show off some of. I've got pictures of some of Bashiba's other abilities, just so people can get an idea of how she'll play in battle. I don't think any of these
Gate.
abilities were actually used during that clip. So
She has
Heaven's
a
Gate,
teleport?
obviously a
Yeah,
really
we saw that one.
She
but
has
I think
a
as well,
legit
some of those were just her
teleport.
dynamic animations in battle. Where
She
is
has a
teleporting. My favourite's when she
150
grabs
meter
someone
teleport.
and comes out
We
the
have
sky and
teleporting
slams them into the
characters.
floor.
We have
So Heaven's
teleporting
Gate is that
lords.
kind of the main ability you're expecting using a lot as Bashiba.
That's a quest item,
Oh!
right?
Yeah.
So that's the one you want to go
Bro,
and get.
can we
and,
rework
gives you that-
Skitterleap?
that
Can Skitterleap be
teleportation
reworked into a teleport now,
element. Very
please?
cool.
Yeah, I think that's her most iconic piece of her kit. So I think as
Oh,
we
that's
mentioned
fucking
earlier,
sick!
if you
That's-
want to pick an engagement,
so
or,
cool that we're
there's
getting actually
a
teleporting
caster
characters.
hiding behind enemy lines that I have to take out.
Blades of Shengyang give
That gives
enemies
a
flammable.
way to get to that caster.
Dude,
If
this could be
Bashiba catches
huge for
herself in an
mods.
awkward position after leading the Tiger
This is
Warriors
gonna be
into a big
huge
charge, and
for
she's actually
mods.
starting to get singled out, she also has a way to remove herself from danger there.
Yeah.
So it's quite a flexible item in her kit, and is a lot of the identity built around that.
The mysterious opponent Heaven's
also,
Gate
because
brooch
of the
allows its
teleportation
wearer
she-
to
that she
vanish before the
has,
foe's eyes before
stalk.
reappearing
She
to
could
inflict a devastating
remove
blow.
herself, go hidden again, and
Oh,
then
that's cool. The
disappear. So
Blades of Shengyang
she's
were
got a very
forged by
powerful
Zhao Ming
ability
himself.
there to,
Yeah.
like
Very
a tiger,
cool.
go in, hit it where it hurts,
Leans into
disappear
the
into
alchemist
into the grass
themes of
again. You're not
Zhao
sure
Ming.
when you're going to get hit
Please,
a second
I
time.
wish Zhao Ming would get
I
a
would take
mechanic
I've not
to
fought a
represent
tiger.
that.
Not for a long
You've
time,
not?
so I'll have to take your word for it.
Always fighting how many versions of you in a bear. That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
classic. Yeah,
All
yeah.
Tiger
wouldn't
Warriors
be one
revere the
version.
White Tiger's legend, giving them
So
staunch
Blades of
belief that as
Shengyang
long
as
as they
well,
fight, they will be led to
The,
salvation.
cool imbuement there, putting
That's an
flammable
interesting lore note.
on. Any of the other abilities? I mean, obviously
She
the
can
community will
detect-
pour over these
so
in their own time. If
enemies
there's anything you
cannot be
particularly want to
hidden
call
if they're
out.
within 50
I'm sure
meters.
they will pour of it, but I mean the flammable. If people remember on a previous slide, she has flaming attacks by default as well. So the flammable
Okay,
for
so
her
she's
is
gonna
also
be a
just like
very
another
nasty
damage buff on
assassin.
top for her personally getting involved. But if you've got other flaming
Did they mention
units
anything about
you
siege
know,
machines
along
on
in the
walls? They
army,
did not.
That flammable means that it's a damage bonus for her, but also an opportunity for you to synergize that with some flaming units at the same time. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well then,
There is one more.
Oh.
I've just checked the notes. Hidden Huntress.
oh yeah,
So there's a
so
fe-
hidden. It didn't even
there's a
make it on the
fear.
screen.
There's a fear.
It's
The
stalking
ability's
off.
so
off
stealthy,
Yeah.
it doesn't even
And
show
that
up.
is her starting ability.
Mhm.
So that's going to help with that kind of stalking stance.
Yeah.
And again, provide buffs in and around that. So
Also,
she's got a
Bashiba
lot of
has
kit.
stalk.
She has, and also you point out it's exactly what I'm saying. Of we've got a lot of the stuff. I've tried to capture as much as I can. Someone said these are like they're just screenshots from in game. They are. I booted up the game and I took the screenshots. I told you guys this is going to be. We're really trying to show you what we're working on rather than the most polished version.
That's really cool. That's very
But
distinct
yes,
from the
that is
dragons.
that's a really good call out of. There's other stuff going on, but we wanted to give you guys
Yeah,
some of the
there's more.
highlights to start talking about. Speaking of, shall we move on to the legendary hero 3LC,
Oh, big reveal.
Free
right?
LC
It
was your
is.
hero?
I worked so long on the stream that just saying the names all come out naturally now. So I'm glad I didn't say that we have. I don't even think the name's on screen now that I've said that. Oh yeah, there we go. Tao Yan the Merciless.
Tao
Yeah,
Yan
there
the
you go.
Merciless.
You looked at us to confirm that's how
I
you
thought
pronounce it.
I
Yeah.
did. I don't actually know if I've said that out loud. So we've got Tao Yan here. So
Yeah.
legendary hero joining the Cathay roster.
Yeah, all Cathay factions can make use of her.
Yeah.
But she does have that synergy, particularly
woman.
with Bashiba
Nice.
and also Zhao Ming. So the background on
So she's got
Tao
a sword,
is that
like a
she's
claw
an exiled
pole thing?
warrior,
Trident?
and the reason why she was exiled to the Western provinces is that she's pretty brutal
She
and
got
has a bit of an
merciless, you
iron.
could say.
Yeah,
She got
in what
exiled from
she
Grand
does.
Cathay.
So when rebellions uprose in the central provinces, the way she went about doing things wasn't so well liked by
That's
some,
so
she was
cool.
exiled out to the west, and now she is one of the lords of
She
Shangyang.
put down rebellions so brutally that
Xiao Ming.
Yuan Bo was like,
And,
you gotta go. Hun,
Yeah,
you
she's
gotta
very
go.
cunning. She's a great fighter. Anything large, so you'll see her taking on
Tyrant's
ogres
Talent
with
is the
her.
name of her trident.
Is
Talent.
first Trident wielder?
Oh,
Well,
Albrecht.
Albrecht as well.
Yeah,
Right,
I'll-
I
that's
should have ran that past us
We're-
first.
we're
mate.
off now.
How many problems does that trident have? Because that could be a Biden, and then I could be back in. Right?
Biden, come on. Also, great anti-large character fighting Noblars in this
Hey,
video here.
actually that's what the feedback was. That's why there's
Josh
clips of
so much
ogres as
shit.
well at the start. I will pull out as well. One of the abilities has got a very blurred name. That is because we've got the ability, but we're still in discussions about what the name will be. We will have that ability
Yeah.
up, which we can actually bring up now. So we
Fueled by
will
vengeance, she causes
very
fear.
quickly show and maybe chat about some of Tao Yan's abilities.
Oh, she has executioner.
one of which shall not be named. Too merciless for it
No
to be
mercy
blurred
for
ability.
today's enemies.
But I thought it was important to
No
be on there 'cause that's
redemption for
such a
corruption.
cool
The road to
ability.
rebellion always ends
So,
with
Tyrant's
decapitation.
Talon, is that the weapon?
That's the weapon that she
Alright,
she
Tyrant's
wields,
Talon.
Yeah. So again, very good at base damage.
Oh, but nothing
armor
bad
piercing.
ever happens in Cathay.
I mean,
There's
she's
no
a ferocious
rebellions in
fighter.
Grand
Yeah,
Cathay.
yeah.
Life is perfect
It
in
isn't.
Grand
I can see
Cathay,
chat
says
saying it's
Games
censored. It's
Workshop.
not censored.
We
It's just
have
not
a whole
decided
character
fully
dedicated
yet.
to
or
Too
not.
hot for Twitch TV,
Putting
that's
down
it.
rebellions.
So suggest your own names.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Cool. Then last section
Awesome.
we have
Executioner
for
hero. Very
Bashiba is we're going to talk about some of the Cathay tweaks.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
As she
yeah,
takes
we can go with that.
damage, she gets
I've got
ward
a
save.
video here that's a video, but it's also just two screenshots that it swaps between every 15 seconds.
Oh, nice.
So the
New
first thing
skill
here
trees.
is there's I think 3 of them that we've worked on,
Oh,
but I've
this
only got
looks
2 in the
really
video
nice.
and 2 were done. Of skill tree updates,
Gate Master.
refreshes.
Oh,
however
new
we describe
alchemist
them.
tree! Yay! New
A few of those.
alchemist tree.
So we're gonna have a
That's
bunch of
fucking
characters:
awesome.
Astromancer, Gate Master, Alchemist,
And the
and
Astromancer.
variety of different things there.
Nice.
So
Oh, that looks so
on the
much
Gate
better.
Master, they would now split their line. So they've got
Oh, yeah.
character line now based
Oh,
on
those are
melee improvements,
way nicer
or
looking
range
skill
self
trees.
improvements. I'm trying to think now.
They're all up there.
Oh, the
Oh,
alchemist
they
I
can
don't know
ride a
if you're
sky
close enough to see
lantern.
it, but
Yeah, no, I can see
Yo,
that.
the alchemist got a new
Um,
mount. That's
I'm just
so
trying to reverse
fucking
back to what I've
cool.
put down in my notes as well.
I do have that the alchemist is getting a sky lantern mount. Is
They
that true?
are. They are. I mean,
yeah,
they've also changed the
they
Sky
fly
Lantern
now?
as well. So the
Oh,
Sky
yeah.
They
Lantern in
fly
itself is now different.
Great, that's
It's
awesome.
now much more of a
That's
supportive
awesome.
unit. So it's there to buff and reinforce the armies around it. Kind of being that spotting thing from up on high. Yeah, no, there's lots of stuff to do with that. But you should definitely talk about the tech tree.
Tech tree.
Tech
I'll wait
tree?
for
New
the
transition.
transition. The tech tree is different.
Yay, new tech tree.
There you go.
Yeah. Military
Yeah, we redid the tech
provinces.
tree
Look at that.
from
new tech tree.
scratch.
Great.
It's
I
funny
love new
when
tech
we
trees.
did it. It has the exact same number of technologies and takes the exact same amount of time,
That
purely
is-
by chance.
That is still
But
a
it is from
massive
scratch.
tech tree.
We really wanted to lean into the yin and
Oh,
yang
it
of
looks
it.
so good.
Each side now has a
Oh,
focus
look,
on yin and
okay, so
yang.
you got a
either-
yin and yang
in
half
either
on
portion of it,
provinces.
and as it comes to the center, it's more
Oh, that's
harmony
really cool.
of effects on those central techs. And we've made a separate military and provinces section, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
a
and
lot easier to
military is
navigate
yang
and find
focus,
what you're looking
provinces
for.
is yin focus,
One of the
kind
things that we had in our mind though is like the current tech tree's been out there for so long. We really don't want this to come across as like, a change for change sake. So we did a really big analysis of everything that was in there before, and give or take a little bit here or there. This is an objective, like it's got all the big ticket items that were there before, plus some extra fun things. And it's just a bit easier to pass. We had some issues with the old tech tree where you'd still be seeing peasant buffs like quite late in, which never really felt like, oh, this isn't capturing me. Like, I'm late game now. I want to see the tech tree reflect that. So now you can see
glad they overhauled the tech tree.
It scales with where you're at.
That the old tech tree had weird
campaign harmony or harmony. Are there any other
got
changes
a Cathay rework
to
before
like harmony traits or how that's?
There has been some stuff done that with characters.
Yep.
So that yes, that has gone on. The other thing we've also done as well is there was feedback on the Terracotta Sentinels not really having enough punch and weight behind them. So we've done an animation metadata pass. So we've been changing that.
Oh, okay.
So now when they're going to
Sentinels
charge, it should be much more impactful in like the damage output.
Nice.
What else
Terracotta
have we
Sentinels
done?
going to
We've
hit
changed
hard.
some of the units on the tierings as well. So like I think it's Long Mars down at tier 4 now. So there's been some balance changes.
Jade Longbows.
We always want to make sure that people can get access to the cool stuff in the roster without waiting too long, while still grading the things that are the big ticket items like the Terracotta Sentinel. They deserve to be up there. But there was a couple of units where if you compare them to other cultures in the game, you go, well, why does Cathay have to wait so long to see infantry, which is like a tier 3, tier 3.5 infantry at a tier 5 spot? So we've made some adjustments. We've adjusted the cost of some buildings as well, so it's not just a straight like you get it earlier for no downside. Like there's been a lot of adjustments to try and improve the flow of the experience for everyone, not just Bashiba.
Fantastic.
Great.
Then we're going to talk about if we're all done.
Oh no, one more thing. Don't forget with Bashiba and the Tiger Warriors, they all facilitate work with the dragons as well. So make sure to check that out as well.
And also anyone who wants to snip the little bits of lore, because there's some really cool some lore in those skills.
He's talking to me.
Well
He's
done.
talking to me.
I'm going to press a button.
Okay, so sounds like
we ready?
we're not. The only thing that they didn't do that I would have liked
about this section of
was
this is the
campaign
section of
mechanics for
so
Meowing and
excited
Zelming.
about. So
But that can always come later.
we've all seen on Reddit that there is a very passionate fan who's hoping that right now we're
Lords
about
of
to
the End
reveal
Times.
a man-sized rat, and we do have something man-sized, and it is a man. So we
It's
have here our next
oh my
Lord
God,
of the End
look at
Times.
Toddy!
Who is this?
It's the guy who I said will have his
Toddy!
day.
And he's having his day.
He's definitely having his day. Yeah.
Oh, look at all the.
So
Is that
Boris
the two-ticket
Boris
guard?
Toddbringer, Alexa Count of
Oh, look
Midland.
at the flame of Auric behind him. Oh, he looks so
It looks
good.
like a new
He's here. He's finally here,
has a
but in
completely
here
brand new
now to be
model.
fully playable.
Yep.
So it's really cool to get to that point from.
It's
From the original
Toddy!
Warhammer,
Yeah.
10 years later to now be in a
It only
position
took
where
10
you get a new
years!
experience, a new fight with the Empire.
He looks
He said he's got a
incredible.
visual glow up as well. His I think it was
Literally.
like
Yeah, Toddy is ginger,
Well,
yeah.
perfect. It was like 9 years ago they called the Beastman or something like that,
Something like
where we
that.
first
Yeah.
brought attention to this character,
Bro,
and he's
he
never
looks
had the
so good.
he's never had his day until now where he
No.
really stands out as
No.
the interesting guy that he is.
So
Look
I do
at the
thank everyone
wolf
for bearing
guard!
with us.
Oh
It's
my
been a while.
God, they look so
Well, we
fucking
said we'd get
good.
there. So we are going to be mostly talking about battle today, as that's more in a stage that I've got videos of and that we can share. We'll have some general campaign questions, but mostly
He
we will
looks
have battle.
awesome. Oh
Um,
my goodness.
And I said that all of those last videos were great because they weren't filmed by me. You guys are now getting the videos I filmed. So
Brace yourselves.
Yeah.
you've seen him in his Lord Selection screen, and now you get him
yes.
in the battle. So Boris Tomlin with his new model there. So where does Boris
Look
start?
at that. I love his big
Do you wanna
stupid
take a guess?
castle helmet.
Somewhere in Lustria.
Oh, look, it is the two-ticket
Oh,
guard.
he's not gone quite as far afield. No, he's in Midland.
Yep.
Shocker.
They're like, Boris is in Lustria.
Fantastic. And so what's the kind of campaign atmosphere you're aiming for
No,
Boris?
that is peak leveler.
Well, generally, as Warhammer
It's
has
not-
gone on throughout the trilogy,
Rune
and
fangs
to
are a
Warhammer 3 as
controversial
well,
topic.
the
We'll talk about
Empire's
that another
got
time.
pretty treacherous. It's quite a dangerous place to be now. And our good friend Boris, he's sick of being on the defensive. He's sick of all these people walking into the Empire and acting like they own the place. So he's going on the offensive now.
I mean, in 3 seconds. There we go.
There we go.
It's
Well,
not-
why
sometimes
did you bring
I'll-
attention to that? Perfect time for vengeance. Now he's going to take the fight to everyone
Where's
else.
our?
So yeah,
okay,
he'll
so
start in
our
a
Ulrich will
position where
probably
you'd
be a
expect it
legendary
in
hero
Midland,
then.
and he's going to.
That means our
where
Ulrich
Carl
will
is trying to unite
definitely
the
be the
Empire,
legendary hero.
Elspeth is holding off the forces of
Like
death.
that's not even a question.
Boris is much more about taking
Oh,
on
Moon,
anyone and
Sotek,
everyone that's
alright.
in the Empire right now, and
We'll go
anyone
down
that's
here.
even thinking about getting the Empire. He's taking the fight to them. No more defensiveness.
Ulrich
He's
can going on the offensive.
embodying the god,
He's going
Ulrich,
on the
you know,
offense.
the god of war, winter, and wolves, and he's bringing that war with him to all of the foes of the Empire.
He's got his claws out.
Oh, he has.
Nice.
Well, I don't have
Does he have
I don't
new
have the
sword and
transition
board
statement
animations?
that I think I do. So what we've got then? So we've got Boris, and we're also going to show off a couple of units here. Then.
It
So
looks the same.
the first
he
unit,
did,
we've
he
got
did
infantry.
one where he like spun all the way around.
Do you want to talk about the unit, or do you
Nah,
want to talk
that's
about the
not new. That's
ability
not new.
that a
He
lot
just
of
looks nice.
Boris's
That's not
faction
new,
will
though.
get? Your choice.
I could talk about both. We'll
They're
see what's
two
on the
different
screen.
slides.
They're on
So-
2 different
all right,
slides.
we'll start off with Crush. So this is Crush the Weak.
Crush
and this
the
is the ability.
Weak.
So people will know that it's
That's a
currently on Boris
classic
Tobringer
tabletop rule.
exclusively right now in the live game, but it's being changed slightly because it's not going to be just on Boris. It's going to be on all Ulrican units going forward, which means it's going to have a few changes.
Passive.
As it stands
It's an Ulrican
right now,
passive
like
move.
this is very much work
The
in
more
progress,
enemies
and all
that are
these things will
wavering or
be
routing,
tweaked
the
as they go.
faster and
Even that
stronger
image
you
is
get.
very much a placeholder image that we've.
Oh, the icon's a placeholder that
Yeah,
I put
and-
over another placeholder.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. It's
Okay, so
it's
the
double
Crush
placeholder
the
right
Weak
now,
hammer
but it
is
is
a
very much in
placeholder.
progress.
Okay.
But the intent is, we want the Ulrican units to all feel like they've got a clear play style and flavor. Midlands are much
The
more
foot
melee
animation was
focused
new?
Empire
Oh, no, he does
culture,
have new
and we want to make
animations.
sure that those units had the
Does
ability
he?
to
Okay,
actually
y'all are arguing with
succeed
yourself. I'm
being
gonna
this
stay on
melee focused faction.
And I think that's what's been really interesting about digging into the pack.
Peasant!
Whereas
Peasant!
when the Hunts Marshal came in, he brought a lot of kind of frontiers units, right?
Yeah.
And Boris does feel like he's bringing his own flavour there of.
So, okay,
it's
so
not
we're
just
getting the
a
Storm of Chaos
Empire
roster.
Plus. It does feel
we're
like
getting
a
the Storm of
sub-faction
Chaos
within.
Midland roster.
So we'll show off one of them now.
Go for it.
who do we have
Teuton
here?
and
Mr. Teuton
Guard!
and
It is.
Look at those
It
beastly
says it on the screen.
boys!
It's
It
a
does.
Teuton God. So these
Look
guys
how big
are.
those fucking
you know,
hammers
people
are.
Listen carefully to my words, and I'm revealing nothing other than the 2 units that we are talking
Those
about
are the only
today.
units we're allowed to reveal, yeah?
Oh, come
So,
on.
so where did the
Expert
Surgeon Guard come
defense,
from?
immune
Well, the
to
Knights of the White
psychology.
Wolf happen
Yeah.
to
They have
have several
armor-sundering-
very esteemed
Armor-sundering base attacks, 110
nobility within them,
armor.
and it's based purely
Oh.
on merit. It's not just about station. If you are particularly good Knight of the White Wolf, you might be elevated
the
to the
Empire
honourable
is
position of the
getting
Teuton
some
Guard, whose
beefy
duty
boys.
is to protect Al Ulrich,
Bro, they have
Emil
armor
Valgar.
piercing.
Yeah.
2 completely inconsequential things when we
Yep.
talk about those
Okay,
guys.
so okay, they
So
just
that's who the
confirmed
Teuton Guard
Emil is
are.
the legendary hero.
What they do in practice is
Emil
they're heavily
Valkyr is
armoured
the legendary
AP
hero.
units. So we want to push them a little bit sturdier and slightly
Holy
fewer number than the
fuck,
great
these
swords.
guys
So
are
they
gonna
are
slap.
on the advanced side of great
Dude,
swords
the
in terms of
Empire
what they
is
do, and
getting
a bit more
good
generalist as
infantry
well.
units.
So where great swords have the anti-infantry, they're classic great swords. These guys are bulkier,
The two Teuton
heavy
Guard are like,
hitting,
move aside, great
lower
swords, I'll
entity.
show you how it's
They're-
done with my
they're
110
kind of like
plate
the
armor.
epitome of Empire's infantry to date so far. And,
Empire
they're going to be a bit
fans!
harder for other
Empire, how we
uh,
feeling, chat?
Empire factions to get hold of.
How we
But
feeling,
all
chat,
of the
about
Ulrican
the
units that
Empire
will be
being
coming
the
will be a bit easier for
So the
Tobringer to
Empire
get
is
hold
the
of because
mystery
of course they should be.
Lords of the
He's
End Times
They're right
unit.
next to them.
Yeah, he's got them in the back room waiting to come out.
So we do have one other unit to show. Did these guys ever get into combat? Did it, Luke? I wasn't paying attention.
I was looking at you.
I'm hoping that everyone got to see them hitting people. I sat on these.
They're
guys
raring
and-
to go.
They
I
are.
recorded
They are.
for
They're
much
slow.
longer than I
See
thought
how
they
much
did.
armor they're
I
wearing?
we
mean,
go.
I think people have seen this before, right? You've seen them hitting. I'm looking at the chat. Did anyone else see them hitting, or do I have to vamp for time just so you can see them throwing their hammers? So
They do be
we
throwing.
will. No, they didn't see them hitting. I really
Talk
sat on
really
them
slowly.
way too long
Yeah.
recording them in idle then. So we do have one other unit to reveal, and funnily
do.
enough, we
Keep
saw
in
a
mind
Reddit
everything we're
post,
saying is beta footage, so if
like
you see
a week
anything, you're
ago
like, oh, that looks
that
cool.
was
little off. Then just keep in mind this is all beta.
Forget all of these units. There's one unit I really hope is part of the Empire pack, and that person is going to be very happy to see.
The Knights
the Knights
Panther!
It is.
Yeah, well, when we make the pack, it's
Bro.
obviously very themed around like a singular.
Oh no,
picture.
the Tiger
And
Warriors!
given
Oh
that
no,
we're
the
doing,
Tiger Warriors! What do they
Boris
do?
Tobringer, the Ulrican units.
We got the Knights
Panther
Let's
also have
fucking
a
go!
house based in Middenheim as
Look at
well as
those goofy-ass
Talabheim. So we
hats.
thought, well, we've got to we've got to capture all the major knightly orders as much as
So
possible.
we're gonna have all the
we've
major
brought
knightly
in
orders.
these
We're gonna
guys.
get
You can
Knights of
see
the
they've
White
got
Wolf,
a bit of
Knights
anti-large
Panther.
on them already. So
Bro,
they're-
there's so
they've got
many
a slightly
knightly
different
order
role from the
units.
existing knightly orders that are in the game right now. But
Yeah. I can also tell you, I'm pretty sure that's the wrong video because I'm pretty sure their horse armor should be blue.
the horse armor should be blue.
I was gonna say
Their horse
that
armor is supposed
I
to
mean,
be
if
blue.
my,
will
hold
be.
on, if my producer double clicks on that video,
Yay, the
double
beta.
click it, and then you click browse. Yeah, do you see another one in there called Knights Panther?
blue.
If you go, if I could just stand up, I could do it.
You can
Do you
stand
think
up.
I could just run over and
Josh,
fix the
Josh,
video?
just do it. It's
They'll
a live
never
stream,
know.
Josh.
Keep
Just
them
do
They'll
it.
never know.
Keep
Yeah,
them
yeah.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, so they should be blue.
Technical
Yeah,
They confirm Knights of the White
very
Wolf.
blue
I'm saying
with
it.
some gold trim.
Yeah, such as the
if they're doing
development in
2
progress.
guards, they're
Every
doing Knights of
day
the White
things
Wolf. They
are
actually talked
progressing,
about
and
the
we
Knights
thought,
of the
oh, we'll
White
get
Wolf
the
earlier.
the most recent version of the Knights Panther to show off. These ones, the
Whoa.
most
Oh,
recent
those look
version.
so
This was, I mean, this was
better.
updated like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So
Those
that's
look so much
The
better.
magic.
okay.
Look at that. They
Hopefully
look
my bum
great.
wasn't on the stream there.
Knights
So these are the Knights Panther.
They
We're gonna
look
have to watch
so
them idle again
good.
as we prepare for them to charge.
You love an idol though, Josh,
I do.
so we can take our time.
I do. I sat there and I was like, about 30,
Josh
30
using,
40
like,
seconds
alpha
would do.
footage.
And I did not know how long 30, 40 seconds is until I've sat here in the hot seat.
Base
So yeah,
immune
we've got the Knights
psychology,
Panther.
that's
I
nice.
mean, we'll see it in a second. You've probably just seen it before. Their
Base immune
charge
psych.
is devastating.
Very good
Lovely
age
in blue
large.
though. I could never imagine seeing him in silver. It looked
That's
cool.
weird.
Who would do that?
Yeah.
Exactly. But what do you know? What I do think that helps to emphasise is everything we're showing is development progress. Like this
Keep in
video I
mind,
took
yeah, it's development
yesterday,
progress. Don't worry
to
too much
replace
about
the one I took the day
stats.
before.
Don't worry too much about stats.
Um,
Stats will change probably
I
before
like it when he does
release.
the boom. So yeah, that's what we're trying to do with the show and tell. So everything you're seeing is development progress. All of those stats could change depending on however Sean's feeling at that moment in time.
Yeah, don't worry about stats at this
yeah,
point. It's
I
way
think
too early to worry about stats.
I'm just letting them see him fight for a little bit before we move on.
I'm
keep ramping.
so happy that we got the
So
Knights
what we
Panther.
have now is technically, but not really, 3 more units. So this is we
You'll
are
never guess
approaching the end of our end times section, and I really like the Warhammer community rumor engines. So
What?
we thought
You
we'd
did
make a run.
rumor engines?
Oh,
So if you guys are, people may know. They may be able to work out what they are. I did,
Okay.
After some feedback from our talk on Tuesday, I made one of them a little bit harder. I still don't think it's that difficult.
No, it's pretty obvious. I'd say. Well, there's easy, medium, and hard.
Yeah.
in
Well,
there for
you
sure.
have to look
I've made
at the
easy,
pictures.
like,
What do y'all think
slightly
those are?
harder, but still.
What do y'all?
and
I think I
and
know
think you
what.
helped with one of
I
them
definitely know
earlier.
what one
Yeah,
of them is.
well, maybe. I'm giving the
Yeah.
game away. There are
Maybe.
Bro.
So if feel free
Bro.
to click these. Guess what you think they'll be.
Bro.
We will eventually come back and show you
Hunting
what they are.
hounds. We're getting
I
hunting
think
hounds.
before we move on to our next bit, which
Which hopefully means
the thing
Bretonia will
I'm
get
most
truffle hounds.
excited for.
That
in the
is so the
entire
Middenheim
I'll
roster
just ask
or
for
the
you guys
Midland
first.
roster.
When
The
are we gonna
Midland
hear from you
roster
next?
in Storm of Chaos
I know
has
the
hunting
answer to
hounds
this if
in
you
it.
don't.
You say it, and we'll say it at the
Okay.
same time.
June.
June.
So I think the plan at the moment is in June we'll come back. We may do it may be a stream, it may be a video.
Okay,
maybe
so-
both, where we're looking at the moment to maybe talk about some of the free update.
So
stuff that's
Lords
gonna
of the
come
End
with.
Times next big
you
update
maybe
is
learned
in
the
June.
first
Oh, you
time,
think
'cause
Celestial
we're
I'm
just
gonna
Hurricanes
pretend
will
pretend.
that would make
I'm
sense.
gonna pretend I was
Yeah.
fully up to date with all
Celestial
this.
Hurricane would make a
So
lot of
at the
sense.
moment,
We're ready to go.
fantastic. At the moment, I think the plan is in June we'll come back and talk to you guys about some of the stuff coming. with
Yeah,
the
that'd be
update.
cool.
Because we spoke about some of that in December.
Okay,
like some
so
of the
June is the next
devastation.
big.
I didn't
End
know I
times
could put that
update.
voice on. But we'll
Spooky.
come back and we'll talk a bit more comprehensively about some of the stuff you can expect to see there. But
Are we gonna get a Bashiba
I
release
saw it in
date?
chat. We do have one last clip for Lords of the End Times. So we have a fantastic voice actor for Boris Todbringer lined up. You're going to be hearing loads of his voice.
We're gonna
when
get
you're
voice
issuing orders
acting?
on campaign and in battle. However, when you load into a custom battle, you're going to see that there's 2 Boris Todbringer voice options.
There's
There's
what?
the original one, which you know and love, and then there's one more.
Toddy!
It's fucking Toddy!
Just a little bit less. Bring it down a bit.
Shut up, Ben!
It's literally fucking Toddy!
Beautiful. Boris Todbringer! None shall live!
Fucking Toddy! It's the guy!
Oh, I
It's
hate Kazrak One Eye.
They got a meme. They gave us a meme voice actor. We got memes.
Can we all just have one? It's me, Toddy!
It's fucking Toddy!
It never gets used.
There it is.
No, put that in the game. Put that in the game.
So there we go.
That's
that
so
has
great.
been one of the hardest
Who
secrets
is that?
to keep.
The fucking
but
Toddy
it
meme
is
comes from that
exciting,
guy.
and they'll.
That
also,
was the
I
guy
think we
dressed
heard
up in the
recently
Boris
that there'll be
Todbringer armor who kicks the
some
door
of
in,
about
and he goes, "It's me,
2/3
it's
of the
fucking
ad-lib
Toddy.
lines
It's fucking Toddy."
that Angori
That's
Tom
literally him.
gave in the recording studio,
That's
and he gave a
so
lot. About
fun.
2/3
They
of them
didn't
will
need to do
make it
that.
into the
That's
game.
just cute. That's just
some
cute
of them
fun.
just a little too hot to handle, but others will just about sneak in. So look forward to that, and that will be part coming along with.
Okay, so Bashiba's coming out.
We've got
in
all
May,
of our
looks like.
information there. More in May on the Tiger Warriors. That's why it says more in May. More in.
Okay, so we don't have a
June
release
on
date,
the
but it's
Lords of
probably
the
May.
End times. So we have our last game, and then we'll be doing community
Bro, I'm
inbox.
thrilled.
I've seen a few people.
I was
interested in us talking about
really,
this one as we've gone
really
through the
hoping
stream.
for the Empire
So-
as the fourth Lords, because that makes sense. For
Welcome.
Lords of the End Times,
and you've
the
perfectly
Empire
sat in the
is
position
like
that I
the
prepared
main
for.
defenders.
Seamless, absolutely
that's great.
seamless.
That's great.
So people haven't
great.
seen you guys in a while. So Dave,
Yeah.
we last streamed together 7
40K.
years ago.
It was a while.
And Kev, we did do
we
a
did
we
Rome
did
one.
We
Yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah.
So
These
welcome.
two very nice gentlemen.
Thank you.
We'll show and tell.
It's warm in here.
It is
Oh,
very
oh, it's
I don't
crazy.
know, I don't know how
I got to
Rich
chat
and
with them
Sean
a fair
managed
bit
that
last
with
year.
the heavy jumpers.
And the sad thing about that video is we didn't get to say big thank you to Rich
Flatten
and Rich
so
and Sean for
Jack,
coming on.
don't
But I'm sure
flatten
that was
you,
shown
Rich
appreciation.
and Sean.
So,
Don't
who are you?
flatten me. Hold on.
Dave, start
I'll
with you.
flatten
Who are
after
you?
this.
What
I'll
are you
flatten
doing
after
on
this.
Total Warhammer?
What are you doing? Who are you? Hiya. Yeah, so I'm David Petrie. I am the battle product owner for Total War. So basically, I look after the when and the what of the features that we're building across
All right,
across
40K
all of the
time, let's
super
go.
exciting games that we're doing. Of course, with a really big focus at the moment, as you might expect, on Total War Warhammer 40,000. So yeah. Also, massive 40k nerd, so this is this is a dream. Very, very orc-oriented is how I'd describe myself. We don't have to talk about interests or anything.
No.
do we? Okay, all right, okay, thank God.
No,
It's
no,
orcs.
I mean, I
Hello,
can.
hello. I'm Kevin. I
Considering it's a brand new
am
model.
the art director
If
on
they had
Warhammer
used the
40,000.
same model,
I
then
think it's
I
fair to
would
say that I'm a Total War
agree
veteran.
that he should be FLC.
26 years making Total
But
War
if
games.
it's a brand
You were
new
the one who
model,
did the
then it's
spin
like
in the December
the only
video.
thing
That's
they really
right.
had the
Yeah.
model, like,
yeah. I'm secretly behind
Like-
every developer
Exactly.
in the studio, just lurking.
he's
Dramatic
got new
cat.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So the first question I had is a more broad
The old
one of
version-
how's development going?
I wonder if the old version will be like.
I throw that
no,
out to the room.
We're cooking.
But like, it's a new
We're
version.
cooking.
of
We're
the
busy
character.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of passion, a lot of
I'm
fire. I
more
think,
curious about the
to get something
mechanics.
really, really awesome done.
I'm
so,
more
yeah,
curious about the
yeah.
mechanics.
So I
than
think
anything.
the team is really actively moving. We're making a ton of progress right now. Battlefields, as far as I'm concerned, are pretty much in the bag, and campaign is making great progress. So
And
it's doing good.
so today we will be showing off one of the spoilers, I guess, but one of the planets, and we'll be showing off 3 battlefield flybys. Just for those at home,
Yeah, Toddy-
what is
Toddy
the,
is
what's
the-
the level of
Toddy's the
polish
DLC
that we'll be
lord.
seeing on the assets that
Yeah.
we share today?
So I'll let Dave speak to the battle stuff from what we're
Which,
seeing on campaign. We
like,
captured it a few
I
weeks
think
ago.
it is definitely an argument
Is, I would say, relatively early.
I could see people being disappointed by that.
But it's definitely showing the intent
I
of
can
where
see
what
people
we
being
want to go
disappointed for that.
visually
Yeah.
with the planets.
So the again, I apologise because I captured
Yeah.
the footage for this.
Yeah,
So.
and what we're going to be seeing on those is mostly the background artwork. So on top of that,
we'll talk about it after
we're
the
gonna-
40K
there's
section.
a
We'll talk about it
layer
after the 40K
of
section.
there's the shroud and the region borders and all this kind of and the user interface, etc., etc. So we're not going to take a look at that
Yes.
today.
So the caveats I had is even the build I got here was from a separate branch. So there wasn't the optimization on there that others have. So caveats I have are there's optimization work, a load of optimization. There was no optimization on the planet clip because that was exploratory there. It's work in progress. The camera still having work, and I've written down Too Dark Planet Rear. Which I guess will make sense when we get there. So if you're happy, I'll throw us over to the planet.
Yeah, go for it.
So this is the first look at our intent for what a planet's going to look and feel.
Oh wow! Okay,
So
we're
that's
just
a
getting
that's a
in-game
hive
planet
waste
footage. Ooh,
planet.
the
So you
hive
can
city.
see the hive cities on there. We've got road connections. We have everything's a bit kind
That
of
planet looks
sickly.
disgusting.
You don't really want to go on vacation there with your mom or your kids.
on your own then.
On
It's
your
not
own.
really
Yeah.
infested. That's
Yeah.
just
It's a
how
solo trip.
the Imperium just sucks. That planet looks
So this is
gross.
one of our planet types. Our planets are kind of
That's
mix
a
and match.
nice looking. Can you
we've
360
got
the planet?
what we call
Ooh.
biomes, which is the overall terrain type. So we've got arid biomes, temperate biome, ice biome, waste biome, and then we also have
Dude,
on
you
top
can
of the planet we
360
have
the planet. That's
different kind of
super
civilizational
nice.
types.
Okay.
So yeah, this is a hive planet. So we can see the hive cities on it.
So obviously the intent is to have, you know, like a spectrum of world types present.
That looks
Obviously
really
hives,
good.
classically, you know, they've got those hive cities on them, and then the waste that they produce
Bro,
causes a
the
bit of a
amount you
problem
can
for the rest
zoom
of the
in and
planet,
out
yeah.
is
But then also we are going to be looking at
crazy.
like frontiers and civilized worlds, etc., which are also
Look, you
sort
see
of
little
mainstay
floating
planet types
satellites?
that are within
Bro,
the
the fact
galaxy.
that as
So
you
yeah,
come
there's all
onto the
sorts
planet,
of different
you can see like the
planets with
cities
different purpose
like
that the Imperium
coming
has
into the
constructed.
atmosphere. That looks
sometimes
so good.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
the sun
often
looks
lost,
amazing.
sometimes forgot,
Yeah.
sometimes forgotten. You know, it takes a long time for that bureaucracy train to work.
The planet looks
but yeah,
gorgeous.
so representing all of that is the goal here.
And just for everybody watching the stream, you know, Dave is a designer. I'm an artist. You'll see me like talking about
Oh, look,
art.
you see like an
nonstop,
Imperial
and,
fleet out in space.
That's my.
That look,
my
it looks
obsession.
The
gorgeous.
question I have then that will maybe hit both of you in a different interpretation is what was the biggest challenge in trying to capture a whole planet?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not just about capturing a planet, because
I'm
what
curious
we're
how
really
much of it is
trying to do
interactable.
here is
Yeah, this isn't a new
we're making
engine.
a planet.
It is a
We're
new
making a Total War planet.
Yeah.
We're making a Warhammer 40,000 planet. So we have to get the confluence of all those different items. This isn't just like planet Earth or Mars or whatever. So we really want to get the feeling that you're playing a Total War game, that there's a familiarity when you're playing it. Also, there's all of the background story with 40K that we need to get in. So our challenge really is getting all those things, and normally that's challenging enough for when we're doing that on a 2D map.
Yeah.
But now everything's getting wrapped around a ball. So
Yeah, there's definitely more than one planet.
Actually, our lives
There's
have been
way more than
made
one
kind of
planet.
easy, and a lot of our process is very similar to making the 2D maps because of our tool chain that we've developed. So the designers and the coders have got a tool that allows us to place things quite easily,
Yeah.
and we don't have to manually go in and do that.
So we
Looks
promised
really
we'd
pretty.
talk a little bit about scale here then. So
Yeah.
I'll ask effectively the same question to you with a different flavour of it. If I'm a player, what is it like to try and capture a whole planet?
So you're going to be fighting through region to region, basically on these continents, with the aim of basically capturing like a key region or a key location within that. And across those conflicts, you're going to be encountering all sorts of different
Will Toddy
scale
be voiced by the Yogscast guy?
civilization. And
He is
what's the
he
word?
is an optional
like
voice pack
density
when you're playing custom
of
battles.
the maps, etc. So it gives a really cool opportunity for you to sort of encounter like more desolate, wastelandy places, like you can imagine when you end up fighting on the perimeters of these hives. You're going to have like these wasteland battles effectively that are pretty much empty, right? Like some bits punctuating things, but largely
so it sounds like
it's
you'll
pretty
be able to
desolate out
fight
there,
almost
bar a few
over
points of
almost the
interest.
entire
And then, of course, when
planet.
you work your way towards and into an actual hive, you're going to be fighting these much more dense, much more sort of like choke point oriented battles. But we'll get into a little bit of that soon, I'm sure.
Then,
but,
it's a great idea of then how I'm taking a planet. How many planets would be in a system?
Why only custom battles?
More than one.
'cause I
More
think
than
it's just a
one.
gimmick.
Well, it could be one.
It could be
possible.
one. It's possible. It's possible to be one, but that's again strength
So
of the
I
tool set.
would
so.
say it's going to
You
be a
have
handful
they
of
have
planets.
the OG
It's
voice
not going
actor
to be like
just
dozens
has
and dozens
fresh
of planets.
new
in the
lines
system,
as well.
So it'll,
How
But
many can you fit in
he's
your hand?
for campaign, and it's also the main voice
Fantastic.
actor.
Then,
Now,
my
switch
last
to
question
the
on this bit
Yogcats
before we move
voice
on to the
actor.
battlefields then. What are the next steps? So what they've seen here is a capture from a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
What are the next steps internally for this planet? Where do you go from here?
So this planet we're kind of done this planet in terms of all the content that we need to make. So like the prototype basic hive waste planet is done. We've got all the components now that feed into a planet making system, so we can make many different versions of this planet, infinite versions. We can also mix this biome, so we can have hive ice planets, hive arid planets, etc.
Yeah, so they just said many planets.
We've been working through all of of the different planet types.
Yeah.
The team is essentially going to be done next week with all the planet types. After that, we have been developing the actual systems.
Yeah.
So we have a pretty good. You can see in the background when I talk about the system, we're talking about where all the planets are living, and there's a star, and there's all the nebula and the backdrop. So we have a pretty good basis for that
This game
already.
is so
but
big,
we're going
y'all.
to spend the next
Y'all
month
have
or
no
so
idea how big this
with the
stupid game is.
campaign art team focusing on all that stuff.
Fantastic. Then, should we talk about some battles?
Let's talk about battles.
So we have 3 maps. So we revealed as part of our announced trailer we had a hive map, which upper hive delta.
Upper hive plateau.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
close.
close. So upper hive plateau, and we did see the community kind of saying, "Oh, that's a lot of things on the map, right?" And when we're doing trailers and stuff, we do try and get there's the most going on. But what I wanted to do in this stream is, because we're talking to the Total War community, right? Is to show there's a variety there.
Yeah.
What we don't have, you spoke about like wastelands. We don't have like the lowest density map here, because those are a bit further in development. Still to be developed in that stage. But we do have some medium lows, and then the one.
And there's only so much we can talk about in one swing, right?
So when I said earlier that we had all the battle
Look at
maps in the bag, that wasn't strictly true. We do have two additional maps that we're working on, which are the lowest of low density.
But look at that. That's exciting. That's really exciting. So
looks pretty
to
good.
speak of this a little bit, basically, like
Did they show Bashiba campaign mechanic?
there's going to be
No,
a
they have
really,
not shown
really
us,
wide variety of
campaign
spaces that we can
mechanic
fight in this game, right? Like you're going to be able to fight in much more dense environments and much more sparse ones. This one is like somewhere towards the bottom half of that sort of sparseness, right? Like you can see overall, you've got enough space on one side there to have an entire conflict, right? You can have 2
like a
massed
ton of shit
armies
on this
meet
map.
there, 20 units at least between that, having a big conflict on that side of the map. But you could also have it over here on the left-hand side, and it will end up being a little bit more sort of like rat runny. But the aim is, again, you've got all of these different tactical options and then sort of strategic elements that can come out of it. So one of the really big and exciting things that we're doing here is that destruction now is going to come into play, right? So that forest, if you don't like it, you don't have to keep it, right? So if you find that pesky forest is getting in your way and you can't see around it, then you can get rid of that thing, or you can use it to hide in, right? And you classically use it to sneak things around and move around. So however you want to try and develop and use your units for your strategy, the aim here is to sort of really open up that toolkit for you, so you can do all sorts of really cool and interesting stuff. And again, the firepower is off the charts. So when we started looking at things like trees, we just went, well, they can't stay there.
The building can't stay there.
Like they're not fucking around.
Some of the caveats I give for this as well, because I recorded this with a debug camera, so I doubled up the height that we would usually go, just because otherwise it would take me so long to go all the way around the map. There are some missing and unfinished elements. I think I recorded this from a build that was 2 months old. In the next clip, you'll see there's a few low-res versions of outfield buildings which have already been updated. But otherwise, I think the main thing I'd point out is just, it's a debug camera, and I plonked down 20 infantry guard. Just
all the same guy.
Same unit,
all
just
the same
20
guy.
of them. Infantry squad, sorry. So just so they can see what that looks like in terms of how big these maps are.
No, they're absolutely honking.
So we do have a lot of maps that we're shipping with, and not only that, they're all quite
considering
switchable
that's
in terms
how
of lighting
tiny the 20 stack army
biome,
is,
and also start pause when you're playing them different.
that
maps.
is
So
that's a
it's going to be a
generous
lot
sized
of
map.
options for the player.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
I want to see a ship get blown up, and then we can move.
Here it comes.
Is it coming?
But I think another point to make here, and I think I've said this before in different forms, is that you're not always alone, right? Like again, we're fighting on these planets. There is a huge amount of conflict going across the surface of the planet as well, right? It's not you're not just you there, right? So when you show up on these planets,
look at the hive city.
Do you want to point at your?
He'll come back.
Okay,
maybe someone spotted him.
Okay, maybe someone spotted him. We're going to talk about it in a minute. But you're not alone, right? Yep. So when you arrive on this planet, it might be, depending on the campaign situation, that you're actually going to be joining a fight that might be in conflict. That doesn't mean there's loads of stuff going on, but there will be like a number of small skirmishes potentially happening in the middle of the battlefield before you start. And whether you decide to help or hinder really is down to you, depending on your alignment, I guess, and how much you care about those poor guardsmen and their lives. But you don't have to care, and that's the wonderful thing.
The thing that's really interesting about this is that how much of the
this is the map from the trailer.
Upper Hive
So
Plateau.
like how much
was
of the
trying
city
to,
you can
because I think
blow
the
up.
lighting is automatically set from a pool when you load into a map. I was trying to match the lighting from the trailer, but I loaded it like 6 times and I just gave up.
Yeah.
So what,
I mean,
10
we've
more
got
years
about
for AOS Total
40
War?
different lighting setups, so you might be a
Okay.
while to try to find the right one.
Variety is key.
Yeah.
But I think like a thing a thing we found really interesting to develop with was this concept of like dealing with these intense spaces, right? Because obviously there is a lot of complexity to building something
I'm
that
wondering if it's still
represents
going to be 20 unit
a
armies.
hive
I
world,
would
right? And I think
bet
the
it
team
will
have done
still be
an
20 unit
absolutely
armies.
stand-up job. I can't swear, can I?
No.
I really shouldn't swear. Wow, that's hard.
Really
So
good
yeah, they did a really brilliant job, like a flipping brilliant job. You know, really, they smashed it out of the park in capturing that. But one thing that we found with this universe, right, is that everything is such an incredible scale, right?
Yeah.
That even these intense spaces, when you get down into actually looking at them, are absolutely huge, right? There are these massive areas that you can conduct combat within, right? So even when you're dealing with these intense spaces, often actually the spaces you can work through
Are there even
still
20
pretty
different
sizable,
space
right?
marines?
Like there was
My
a moment
bro,
a
have
little
you
while ago
seen
that you
how
can
overly
try and point
bloated
at one
that
down there, just
roster
down
is?
below the camera.
There's
bring
like
the
a
camera down.
gajillion
Yeah,
different types
come
of
on, Josh.
space. They
Yeah,
all
like
look the
you can
fucking
fit
same,
like
but they're all
a
technically
sizable
different.
army in a lot of these spaces, and then in many of those spaces where things do get tight, there are opportunities to remove buildings and sort of make it a little bit bigger if that's your play style. If you've got an army that really values line of sight, then that can
looks
really
great.
really help you there, because you go, I don't
It
want
looks
those, get rid of them.
absolutely great.
And I
right?
think that's been the biggest mental shift in playing is dense maps in other Total War games. It's these are all obstacles I am forced to work around the whole time. But a lot of these buildings I can get rid of. I can make this a lower density map if I want to fight on a lower
Yeah,
density
you
map.
can just
Yeah.
blow
we
up
also have
shit
some
that's in your
amazing
way.
effects
Like you don't want those
with
buildings
the
there.
Northlands.
We
You
do,
can just
yeah. And again, you got these really powerful tools, right, to be able to sort of like blow apart key parts of the battlefield. Being completely clear, not absolutely everything is destructible, right? Like we've kept it to areas where it really works,
Where
it
it
makes
makes
sense, and it feels like it can really sort of add to that depth. But I mean, another big
I look
part of
forward
it
to
is,
the Alcoin-
is these cover zones,
Alcoin
right? Which
19
as we come back
Baneblades
round,
video.
maybe we'll
There you
we'll
go.
get to point out.
Oh, yeah.
But these cover zones, because again, we are dealing with a universe that's full of really powerful but flat-firing weapons, right? And so cover becomes incredibly important. So a part of the sort of the tactical the tactical tapestry of
We're seeing like a real big cover zone right down there, bottom
And
left.
then
Yeah,
that's where my
um,
yard are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it really can, help the survivability of your weaker units. And something that we really wanted to capture here is that, cover really does matter. When you've
It's
got
good that
fragile
cover
units,
matters
that
a lot.
fleshy poor humans that can't take a huge amount of punches or particularly get hit by bolt rounds, right? Like they need somewhere that gives them a bit of rest.
It's about here we go.
is.
If they spot him on the left,
There you go.
middle left, there he is. He's
Who's that?
waving.
Oh yeah,
There's a little
so he
guy
is.
there. So
Yeah.
sometimes people stand on ruins. That's neat.
They
But anyway,
Yeah.
let's not worry too much now. But yeah, you can end up in these cover to cover fights, right? And at that point, it's about what tools do I have available to me? What can I unstick this situation with? And of course, you got so many toys here, right? You've got units that can jump over things with jetpacks and land and get into a melee, because melee is a great way to unstick a cover. But you also
Might
have
blow
these
up a building that's next to them and drop it on top.
drop
of
it
them.
on them. Yeah, absolutely. You've got these wild bombardments if you positioned or have your fleet in orbit nearby you. Part of that whole tactical and strategic space is stitching together the campaign and the battle, so that having that fleet present with the right things on it, with the right bombardments, with the right assortment of
so
armament,
if you have a
can
fleet
really
in
help the
orbit,
battle. So if you've
you
loaded
can
it up with a
bombard
macro
the
cannon
battlefields.
and you've got a bunch of really
So in real-time
angry
battles,
space marines ready to jump
your
down, they can
fleets
appear
can
exactly where
unleash-
you don't. Well, the enemy doesn't want them, right? So there's
Your
the
fleet
really
can do
powerful and cool
shit.
tools to sort of like play with once you start
That's
to get
pretty cool.
into this space.
That's
But
pretty
cool, it
cool.
looks pretty, doesn't
That's
it?
nice.
I'll ask.
I don't have to
just-
say anything,
Yeah.
Dave. I mean, just everybody's just looking at it. They can't even hear a word you're saying.
There was listening.
Just before we move off this one, then, I wanted to ask you about deployment zones. So what's different about deployment zones here?
What's different about deployments? Oh, yes. What is different? We want to make sure we have, I guess, as many varied ways to play these maps as possible, right? And we have done tricks like this in the past, but we are leaning into it. So with this map, you can fight it north to south, effectively, so like from that direction. You can also fight it east to west, so you can have that deployment on a different,
Space
basically,
Blackheart, yeah.
axis. And we also are going to have assault battles, right, which have these sort of more entrenched positions that we're fighting against. And at that point, you might be defending sort of halfway out into that map, for example. So as a defender, you might be sort of halfway
I
in, and we
can't
have
wait
all
for
of these different
Tyranids
sort of
to get
ways
added
of
to
configurations, of making sure
Cannot
that
wait for
the experience
Tyranids.
does stay fresh on these maps. 'Cause
Yeah.
of course, keeping it fresh and giving that variety just is super fun.
And
So,
speaking of variety, so we've seen an ice map. We've seen what's the biome for this one? Is it waste?
that will be a waste. Yeah.
And what we'll show as well is, I think, one of your favourites.
Da-da-da-da.
This is an arid map. This isn't an arid map, right? This is a map with arid on it.
That's right, yeah.
So you could play this.
So
map.
this could be all green.
Yeah,
right?
it could be
yeah.
ice.
It could be all ice,
yeah.
yeah.
Or
Exactly.
it could be all gunk.
Yeah.
Could be.
Gunk back.
Okay, so
So
they have,
that's how this variety is really
they have,
getting
like,
laid on.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You fight on the same map
maps.
twice, but
Yeah.
one time you're
Plus
fighting on this in
an
an arid in this
environmental
deployment,
layer.
and the
Yeah.
second time it's the opposite deployments,
Yeah.
and you're on ice.
Yeah, absolutely. Put it on
Okay.
ice. Don't put
Yeah.
it on ice. We are definitely.
Oh,
too
I
hot
like
to
all
put
the
on
little
ice.
flying ships.
But and again, I think conceptually, I just absolutely love this map. I think it's really, really, really cool. It really reminds me of like the texture paints that you get to sort of stick on your models. Using your Martian iron crust and all that sort of stuff. It brings back memories basically. But and again, this would probably speak of like a frontier world, right? So somewhere where like things are much more desolate, where civilization that has been built up is kind of like almost stuck to the vestiges of like crashed vessels and whatever the Imperium has slammed down
game
to
looks
sort of
really
bunker
good,
up
or
around.
it
And
looks
you get
very
these really
pretty.
cool and
Sorry,
interesting
looks very pretty.
spaces to fight in. And
Obviously,
again,
this
sort of
isn't
looking at those sort of
gameplay
like ledges
as
that you
far
can
as,
fire
like,
down from. Again, with flat
mechanically.
firing
But it
missiles.
looks pretty.
The positional play really, really does matter a lot. Like, so being able to build up multiple ranks of fire from, like behind you, in front of you, to the side, you're flanking with your missiles, etc. Like
It looks
that
like
is
it's
all an
progressing
important
well.
part of that space. So making sure that we have that in the environment, is super, super key.
And doesn't it look good?
And doesn't it look lovely? I really like the big crash ship.
Yeah.
The big crash ship is a really good part of the map. Yeah. But we do
It's
have
interesting
a,
that
just
you
a
can kinda see,
labour.
like,
We do have
aerial
the
units
flat
just sort
map,
of
right?
flying
We
around.
have the very,
I
very sort of
imagine
like
that
desolate
means
empty
the
ones
aerial
too.
units
We all love
are
them,
not
and they all fit. And that's the
traditional
brilliant thing is you
units?
just get such an amazing spectrum of different spaces that
Because
you can end up
they
fighting in.
can't like
This
hover
is
in place,
actually
right?
like structurally a classic Total War map.
They'd
type.
like have to
Basically,
always
if
be
you
on the
look
move,
at,
which would be
it's a
really
divide
weird
into with
from a
a
playstyle
few,
perspective.
like, passing
Choke points,
for points.
yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
So I have a
Fantastic.
hard
Well,
time
I
imagining them being
only have one more
units.
question for you, and I think I'm answering it because I am going to ask you when will
'Cause
we
here
hear
you
from
can
you
see they're
next?
more like
But
decoration.
you're very busy.
Yeah, they
making
might
the
be
game,
army
so I think I know
army
the answer
abilities would make
to
sense.
this.
Because then you could have
which
like
is
bombing runs. And
we have
stuff.
a few.
You think?
We've got a few things planned at the moment of when we're going to show more of Total War Warhammer 40,000. We're still working on exactly which is going to come out first. So regardless of which it is, by the end of June, you will have heard more about Total War and seen more.
Okay, so it sounds like
We'll hear more about
June
Total
is
War.
just
Probably from us too.
release.
Probably.
Maybe, I don't
Can't-
know.
Because
can't get
June
your
we're
way.
getting more news on Lords
all right,
of
well,
the
thank you very much. I'm going to
more
stick
on
us
Rogue
onto
2, more on
a summary
Medieval 3, and
screen,
more on
so you are
40K.
free to sprint out. But thank you so much for coming on. Really
Thank you for
appreciate your time.
having
us. Thanks, everybody.
And, thank you everyone in the chat for saying thanks to them. All right, we have one more section, and you're free to skedaddle.
40K's zipping along pretty nicely.
We have one more section, and that is our community inbox. So we had a
that's,
really
zipping
great
along.
reaction to our
Just got here,
community,
what have I missed?
community inbox
Literally
last time.
everything.
We had it in its own separate stream. We found that you guys asked a lot of very specific game questions, and that is actually part
I'm
of what
very
inspired doing the show and tell.
Curious what community
reveal.
inbox will be.
It's the man!
It is. You're the only one I forgot to put a name tag on as well. So you'll have to introduce
I'm
yourself.
nobody.
He is a
we
very
had so
cool
many
guy to
questions
chat
about
with.
specific game stuff, and we put them all to you in a bit of a gauntlet. We thought this format's a bit nicer because then the game teams can answer all of the game questions, and to you we can pose more of the kind of franchise level questions. So welcome back.
He's a
Thanks.
very
Glad to be
interesting
here.
man.
2-3 months since you
Yeah,
last
yeah.
year. So we've trawled through your inbox again of people emailing in. There were a lot of emails. There were, when we did the announcement of the stream, then a lot more emails.
Yeah, you guys blew me up. I just kept getting alerts for like 3 solid days.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
the
we
fact
have
that
enough
that's not
in the
illegal.
bank for another one of these in the
Yeah.
future.
That's not
We're
illegal.
going to ask just a few questions because we're
He's
relatively
the,
short on
he's
time.
the
But
current
there were some
vice
questions we saw
president,
real trends on. So
I believe,
for
of
those who
Creative
don't know
Assembly.
you, because I don't have a name tag for you, who are you?
I'm Roger. I am the vice president for Total War. Big silly title. Ignore it. I am nobody. Everybody that you've seen so far.
Yeah, Roger.
They're the real hard workers.
He
They're the ones
is
make things go.
So we're going to put
really nice
the harder
guy.
questions to you then.
That's
are we?
fine. That's fine.
He very
So we've
fairly
got, I think,
recently
6
took over
questions to run through,
leadership for Total
and
War.
the first of those
I have
is
been
I saw in
really
the emails,
impressed
you get a
with
lot
him.
of suggestions.
I have been
on
very
AI.
impressed with him.
Either why don't you just do this, or how can't you do that?
Yeah.
So what is the biggest challenge for improving AI?
Yeah, so I have answers for this, but I know that as soon as I leave here, all the AI programmers and designers will find me and potentially punch me. AI is lots of various challenges. For one, our game is heavily based in simulation, and so the AI has to do stuff that the players could also do. And therefore our AI has to be really dynamic, and we have like PhD level people who are doing the architecture of our AI in order to make it smart. But the other aspect of AI is that an all-knowing, all-seeing, all-doing AI is not actually fun. In order for the game to be fun, it needs to be both challenging and winnable. Like there has to be the hope of doing it, and an AI theoretically can see everything. So getting the balance between those two things is very, very tough. I'd say that the architecting and the designing of the behaviors and those things are probably the most challenging bit. But then there comes the design part, which is how do you make the AI itself feel good, and then how do you make it feel good for as many people as possible.
I mean, just think about how many people
I think you
like,
know, it'll be
hated
nice,
the Total War
hopefully in the
Warhammer
future
thing,
that we have various settings in the
where
game.
like the
that allow
AI was like
players to
auto
take
dodging
more control
all
of the behaviors they want
artillery.
to see from the
Everybody
AI.
fucking
I think
hated it.
A lot of
Because it
people,
wasn't fun.
many people, when they send me questions about AI, it's about it's not hard enough.
Yeah.
And they don't want us to just like, you know, raise HP and raise.
They want it to feel smart.
They want it to feel smart. So. Hopefully in the future we'll be able to implement more clever things like that.
Yeah, we did speak about in the Warhammer 3 section an update that will be coming in 8.1, which is a new a way of priorities changing across the campaign. So all of that kind of stuff helps when it's layered on. I should have started with this question because it's super relevant to the actual stream we just did, which is, does working on multiple projects reduce focus? Why don't we just have everyone in the building working on the same thing?
Well, let's see. It doesn't reduce. Well, it's that's a nuanced question.
Yeah.
So it reduces focus for me because I have to be
worse.
everywhere at once. We do have people who are dedicated to various projects. The way the games are made is that games are in various levels of production, and so you don't necessarily need the same people at the beginning as you do in the middle of production or near the end, and that we need to also move everyone. We also, you know, so we have the ability to move people around, helps make our production more efficient. Also, if we were to just a 100% staff, a complete team who could build a thing end to end, what you would have is that you may have places for no one, nowhere to go. They're just sitting there not being able to do work. So we have to find that balance between making sure we have the right number of employees in the building who can always be working and be productive and also not be wasteful, and also have enough projects going at once that we can kind of, you know, release game over game over game.
There's a weird amount of conspiracy.
It's the intent that we're trying
like
to release
people
a game.
being like, oh,
every
they're
several
pulling
years.
everyone off
You know,
the Total War
the
Warhammer team
desire
and
for
moving them to the
business. Of
40k
course,
team.
It has to be good.
So
first.
for Warhammer,
the
is
bottom
gonna be
line
bad.
is it's
like,
not a
it's
loss
not
of focus. It's a strategic
how that
decision
works.
to manage our people.
That is, I can see people as well. They are understand that I've maybe just given all of the hardball questions to you, and everyone else got, how are you doing? And you're getting, why are you putting people on different projects? So the next question is something that actually I think a lot of our player base will relate to because they themselves have had to go through it. What's the biggest hurdle in getting a new player into Total War?
So our game is really hard. The strategy games in general, but our game is really hard to talk about. It's not. It's if you play a shooter like Call of Duty or something, it's like, well, it's conceptually for people it's easy. You just pick up a gun, you point it, and you fire. Our game has depth and complexity and nuance, and a lot of the joy that you get from playing a strategy game, particularly Total War, is sort of the many hours you play. Spend time like manipulating your game in order to appeal to the things that you're interested in, and getting people through that hurdle is a big step. So I mean,
I can
to be
see
fair,
GW
I
saying
think
the
we've not
4K
done
is
a very
take
good
priority
job
over
with
their other IP
our
projects. I
onboarding.
don't think
we've
GW
tried. I think the
can tell
prologue
them that.
is probably
Like,
our best
GW
effort.
doesn't have that
for
level of
Warhammer
authority
3.
over CA. CA
But,
decides how they're going to allocate their
you know,
resources. GW doesn't have
the
anything
secret,
to do with it.
the sort of in the industry,
Like
the jargon
Sega could tell them
for,
to do
for
something like
games
that, but GW
easy
doesn't
to
have
play,
that
hard
level
to
of authority over
master,
them at all.
and we just don't have the easy to play part quite right. So we need to get that part better, and then I think I do think there are many people who would love strategy games if we just gave it to them in a way that they could more easily absorb it.
And
But
I think what we've looked at is how to make the slope easier
Yeah.
without making it easy.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Without making the game feel easy. How can I get into the games industry?
Yeah,
This
that's
is
a
a
good
question you get quite a lot.
Yeah, I love that question. People find me on LinkedIn and they ask me this question, and I always answer because I think it feels like some big secret. There are multiple ways to get into the industry. There's no clear-cut way. I'll give a few examples, but I'd say probably the most important aspect to trying to get in the industry, if you really want to be in the industry, must be a willingness to relocate. Because almost certainly where you live, there's not a game studio. Almost certainly. And if you are brand new to the industry and you've never done anything that's relevant, you're probably not going to get a job that's remote.
Yep.
Because you don't have the skills, you don't have the thing that needs to be offered to a company to incur the fact that you're farther away. My recommendation for people is QA. QA is always a really great entry point to get in. I know lots of people who've gotten into QA who've had like master's degrees in psychology or mathematics or anything else. Obviously, if you can go, get training to do character art, programming or any of those things, those are obvious ways to get in. But if you're coming into it from effectively nothing, and you want to get into like game design or those sorts of things, QA really is the secret. And just getting QA job anywhere is better than nowhere. So like even if you're targeting like a really huge studio in order to get a job in your favorite game, just find somewhere that will give you a job. And then the last piece of advice, particularly for those that want to do game design, is get into the modding community. Like really
So many people here from the modding.
Totally. And in my whole career, I mean, I've been in the business now for 20 years, and the vast majority of my designer colleagues have all come from modding of some flavor. And when you mod, you get to learn how games are made. You get to then experiment and share it with people and see how people react. Because so much of game design is really trying to understand human behavior and understand what does fun mean.
Yeah.
And if you can spend time in your own free time learning that, when you do finally get a job and you get people who can mentor you, a lot of the language of understanding game development becomes much easier. But otherwise, QA number one.
Yeah, Undertaker.
Fantastic.
The
Thank you.
right
I
image
have
I think was
two more
Emir
questions for you then,
Valgir's.
and they are they're pretty spunky.
His like staff
we
of
see
office
discussion
thing.
a lot in the emails about
Dragon Horn
where the game's
thing.
moving. If we should be moving.
I'm pretty sure that
towards
was
a
Valkyr.
slower 4X game or a faster arcade game. Is there a franchise level view from you as to what our game's pacing is?
Yeah, so internally there's lots of internal debate about the franchise, me and people on my direct team, to define exactly what Total War is. That's not something I'm interested in doing, because I want Total War to be what it needs to be for the thing that we're building. So I want to make sure that when we start a project like Med 3 or we start a project like 40,000, when we go into it, we're thinking about the basic structure and the way that Total War games are made. But I want the game to find itself.
Yep.
And so, if the game is better to be more arcadey and punchy and fast and zingy, then great. Or if the game is better to be slow and methodical and thoughtful and, crunchy, then that's okay too. I don't want to define a defined franchise direction. But that being said, I do think it's important for the franchise to try to keep finding uniqueness and innovation, and to be exploring all those spaces. So I do think that 40,000 is very different from Med 3. They're going to feel very different, despite the fact they're both Total War games, and I think that's a good thing.
Yep. Then my last question for you, unless anything springs to my mind. There's a long-standing complaint that Total War is more fun early game than late game. What are the plans to tackle that?
This comes back to the
Yeah, and that's true though.
Sort of
like
the
that's
question
true.
about new players in a lot of ways and getting them into the game. I think we have a lot of work to do in order to think about player interactions and design intent and how we create fun experiences in all phases of the game. We have very expert game designers, but I think it's Total War as a franchise is something that has just been built on over and over and over again. Things just keep getting added on and on and on. And I think at some point we do, and I think right now with Total War Next, we are kind of coming back.
Yeah, Visionary,
in
I
some
would
ways
agree.
To first principles.
It does get hit that
the
like
important questions of,
inevitability
why do we
point
do
because
this
the AI
particular
doesn't.
thing? A
step
very
up to
silly
meet
question
you.
is like, why do we have unit cards as an example? Well, somebody came up with that decision ages ago. Do we now know why we do that? Is it important that we do that? Well, probably it is important that we do that. But we should be asking all of those
It's
questions
so weird
so that we can then eventually
the
answer
vice
this one.
president is American.
One other
I'm so
thing,
not
though,
used
that's
to them.
completely unrelated to
One
this,
of them not
about
having
the get into the games industry.
British
If you are an
accent-
experienced game
accents.
dev, we do have jobs. We are hiring.
I think they were putting a link in the chat.
Yeah, please apply. We've got lots of cool jobs.
They are
Fantastic.
hiring.
Well,
they are hiring.
That's all of the questions I had from the inbox. Also, I think we have time for. What I will do is I will put back the. I'll have to use the 40k one, the summary up. I hope you were able to watch some of it. I don't know. You're probably busy doing a job.
No, I watched. I watched.
But a fantastic amount of stuff that we were able to show.
I think this was
hope the
absolutely
community
spectacular show.
were able to enjoy it.
I have a couple of like.
It's a very different vibe we've
I
gone
have
for here.
mixed
It's show and
feelings
tell.
on certain things that were shown.
But
I
let
think
us know
as
what you
far
thought.
as the
I've
show
seen a
and
lot of
tell
stuff in
was
the chat as we were going up.
I
But
think
if
Josh
you want
did
another
a
one of these,
phenomenal
if you're
job.
interested in
Like, the
learning
fact
more
that
about
this is
these,
a
we've tried
live
to
stream,
be
it's not a
a bit
video.
more prescriptive in the
The
dates
fact
and
that
times
this
that
is
we've
a live
given.
stream,
I think sometimes we can get called out as a little
this
bit
was
of coming soon,
phenomenal.
or it's coming. So
I
we
think
try to
this
be very
was an
deliberate in letting you guys know when you'll be able to hear more, and put some
phenomenal
numbers
show.
on things so that you
For
can
a
understand.
live show, this was
But otherwise,
very well
give us
done.
your feedback, give us your thoughts, and thank you so much for
I
tuning in.
I'm deeply impressed.
Roger, thank you so much for coming
I
on
hope
and
they
letting
do
me
this
ask you
again.
the hardest questions
I
I
hope
could
they do
find
this
in
again
the
in,
emails
like,
that were sent to you.
10 harder ones next time.
Or
That's
3
okay.
months or whatever.
We'll have a recap blog with a lot of this information perhaps next week.
I think this
But
was
otherwise, thank you everyone for watching, and
very,
we
very
will
good
see you at the
show.
next one. I am not going to immediately end the stream like I usually do because I've managed to wangle getting the end times audio at full volume as our stream end music. So I'm going to let that play because it's absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you to all my guests, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, this is audio from the end times. That was an absolutely spectacular stream. Ooh, that's end times music? So this is gonna be a Total War Warhammer? Oh, baby. Oh, baby, more of this, please. Okay. So, overall, I would say this show was like a fat 9 out of 10 for me. As far as like the actual show. The actual show was spectacular. Very well run. Came off very professionally. I think Josh absolutely killed it and did a really, really good job. Fantastic show. I think regardless of what game you were here for, there was lots to chew on. I'll go ahead and just turn that down a bit. Okay, so let's chat. Let's chat for a minute. I would say let's chat for a bit. Let's hear. Okay, let's turn that down. I'm gonna transition back to my royalty-free jazz music. TM. Okay, so the only thing the show did not have that I think it should have had was a release date for Bashiba. I am disappointed they didn't have a Bashiba release date. I will say it seems like she's planned for May, considering they showed off 8.1, which is the patch that comes after her. And they're gonna be talking about end time stuff in June. And they did say we're gonna be getting more information on Bashiba in May, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee a release date. On the other hand, like, I mean, I would rather CA not give us a release date until they're absolutely fucking sure. Nobody wants a delayed release date. That fucking sucks. So I would rather, I guess I would rather them wait until they're absolutely sure. And I guess they're just not absolutely sure. I am hoping for May. Could be June, but I'm hoping for May. As for all of the reveals, I'm gonna be really blunt of that. I have a passing interest, but not really, in like Medieval 3 and Rogue 2. Like, I don't really care. So I'm not gonna talk about that really. For Total War Warhammer 3, the Bashiba looks really good. I think Bashiba looks spectacular. I really like the stuff we got to see for like her abilities and items. And I very much like that she has a full-on fucking teleport. That's really exciting. I really hope that Creative Assembly is gonna tweak some of the things in the game that should have teleporting type moves. Like, I really hope the Skaven Skitter Leap, I hope Skaven Skitter Leap gets remade into a teleport for the caster, instead of being what it is now, where it like makes all of your units like stalk, which, like, whatever. The AI update for 8.1, I'm intrigued, I'm interested. Hopefully it's good. We'll see. Talyan, the legendary hero, looks solid. Like, she looks like a good legendary hero. A melee executioner character with like a big anti-large focus. Cathay doesn't have a lot of really good like anti-large heroes, so giving them like a really strong legendary hero who just kills the fuck out of large things, cool, awesome, no problem there. I also like that Cathay is getting a regular human character. I actually really like that they're getting just like a normal human. So that takes, so Cathay stuff, cool. The Cathay tech tree looks very good. The jazz music is tad loud. Okay, sorry, I'll turn that down. Oh, right, because I have the, hold on, let me switch all that. There we go, let me know if that's better. So yeah, Cathay looks good. The siege rework is promising. I like that they're the fact that they're actually trying to make ethereal units work. Like, oh boy, that's really nice. Trying to make ethereal units work, I think, is really exciting. The ladders look good. The ladder art looks really nice. Okay, so that takes us to the end times. I really like Toddy's redesign. I think the new Toddbringer looks significantly better than the old Toddbringer. The new Toddbringer looks absolutely fantastic. Knight's Panther is very good. That's really exciting. Tuchitin Guard looks absolutely incredible. There is gonna be controversy over Toddy. There's gonna be controversy over Toddy. It's a weird situation. So for those unaware, which you might be, for those unaware, Toddbringer was technically added to the game like 9 years ago. So 9 years ago, Toddbringer was a free LC thing. He wasn't playable. but he was a free DLC thing that was added with the Call of the Beastmen DLC, where he basically was like a unique model, but that was it. Like, I think he has a unique voice actor too, which it sounds like they brought back his voice actor to record all of his new lines. But you could only really use him, like, if you confederated him, I think he maybe had a slightly unique tech tree, but not, he had a couple of unique skills, but wasn't really that different from an Empire General. And he's very popular in multiplayer. Because of his regeneration. So releasing him as a paid DLC, I have very mixed feelings about it. Because on one hand, I can understand how someone would look at that and say, well, why do I have to pay for something that I already had for free? But on the other hand, I would say that I don't really think this is the same thing. It sounds like the only thing that is carrying over from the old Toddy is the voice actor, and he got brought in to record a bunch of new lines. So, like, if he has a bunch of new audio, he has a completely brand new model, and then everything else about him is completely brand new, then I have a very hard time looking at that and saying, like, oh, well, they're just making me pay for something I already had, because you didn't. You didn't have that model. You had the voice actor, but not all of the audio, and they've also included a bonus voice actor as just kind of a meme, which I don't like. Whatever, that's cute, but it's for multiplayer or custom battle only. So that's very cute. I'm glad they did it. I think that was a really fun nod to the community, and that was a very fun thing to do. But it doesn't really matter for the discussion. Is the alliance within discount may already gone as part of the Beastmen? I don't agree with that. I don't think I agree with that, Istian, because I think that's a very apple to orange comparison. Because it's not the same thing. Like, it's the same name, but everything else about it is completely unique. What I will say, I care less. Here's the thing. I care less about Boris, and I care more about Emil Valgir. Of that, I feel like it would have been nice to have... I'm trying to think about how to word that. I feel like... I don't know if this is possible. I feel like it's probably too late at this point. But I feel like what would have been nice would have been Emil Valgir as an optional legendary lord, and then Boris as an optional legendary lord, and whichever one you don't play becomes a legendary hero, just like if you're playing Vlad and Isabella, where then you're functionally getting a completely brand new legendary lord, and you're getting a character that's 95% of brand new legendary lord. I think that would make it feel better. Because, like, I understand, like, I don't think I'd want our Ulrich and Toddy to start in different locations. I feel like both of them should start in Middenheim. The old toddy model should be made in general, though, after some mods. What? I don't... I don't think I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do with the old toddy. I think it'd be nice if the old toddy model was like an alt skin you could equip, which would be kind of weird, but I wouldn't... I feel kind of like, I'd like them to keep it as an option instead of throwing it away. I don't know if that's doable. Like, I don't know if, because the new toddy doesn't look like he has new animations. It looks like he still has the old animations. So I wonder if they could make it where, like, you could pick which toddy you wanted to play with. Because that'd be kind of cute. But anyway, that doesn't really matter. I will say that I think making Middenheim the playable faction. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna make a separate video about it. Because I think it's a discussion worth having. I think there's definitely gonna be a lot of very strong emotions about the Toddbringer reveal. I think if they had done a Vlad and Isabella situation, I think it would be like, that's great, and I don't think it would be a reasonable argument to be like, oh well, that's bad. So I think maybe that's what my recommendation would be. But I don't so okay, for those of you, I know there's several people in chat that are like, oh fucking, this is terrible, like how dare they do toddy. Do y'all feel that it would feel much better if it was that he's an alternate lord, and then like Emil Valgir is an optional lord, and the one that you don't take becomes like a legendary hero? Do you feel like that would be like, okay, like that would make me feel really, really good about that DLC? Yeah, I know there's a lot of people in chat that are totally fine with it is what it is. Like they're like, I'm excited for toddy, that's great. I totally get that. I'm more curious about the people that are not a fan of it, because I think that Creative Assembly has an avenue they could take where virtually everyone feels like, oh yeah, that's great. Toddy being a legendary hero makes a little sense. I mean, there are a lot of folks that would argue that about every legendary hero. There's a lot of people that would say that, like, Ariel being a legendary hero doesn't make sense, or Kodo being a legendary hero doesn't make sense, or Croak being a legendary hero doesn't make sense. It's kind of arbitrary who ends up as a legendary lord, who ends up as a legendary hero. It would just be an option. I don't hope this doesn't become a big controversy. I don't think it'll be a huge controversy. I think that there's going to be some very passionate voices that are going to, how do I say this? I think there are going to be some very passionate voices that are going to interpret toddy in the least possible generous light, and I would argue that they're going to rather grossly exaggerate the situation, in my opinion. But I think that their complaints at the core of it are a valid complaint. Because I mean, I'm gonna be honest of that, like, I care significantly more about the mechanics and the units than I do about who's leading Midland. Like, making Toddy go from an old free LC model to a new refurbished DLC model, to me, Toddy being the Legendary Lord is kind of like a 1% of what I care about in the DLC. I'm much more interested in what are the units, what's the mechanics for Midland as a faction, and all that shit. I'm more interested in that, and I think that is the significantly more important part of what you're paying for. But I can totally understand and sympathize with how someone I could sympathize in how someone can look at that and be like, why are they making me pay for something I already have? I don't agree with it personally, but I understand it. You know, in a perfect world, they would have made Toddy playable years ago, but they didn't. You know, and this is just where we're at. Hi, Aya, how you doing? Drama? It's I mean, you know, I think it's I think it's a reasonable discussion. Hopefully, it's like hopefully people will be reasonable about it, but I don't know. I don't feel like the Total War community does reasonable very well, historically speaking. Vayer7, thank you so much for the super chat. Seeing Toddbringer after so many years was awesome. Yeah, the new model is great. I do think the new model looks spectacular. Biofoot, those passionate voices coming from Gelt/Skrulk, that is a different kind of passion in your little headcanon, but yeah, there you go. Personally, I just want Midheim to be a fleshed out subfaction. That's me. Well, that's what I care more about. I care significantly more about Midland or Midheim, depending on how you want to interpret it, being a fully playable new Empire faction, because this means that we have every single Storm of Chaos roster, except the Demons of Chaos, if you want to get super technical. The Shadow Legion led by Bellicor is not properly implemented. The version we have now is garbage. And it's also missing some units. But we have every single other Shadows of Chaos now. With Midland, we have every single Shadows of Chaos faction in the setting, which is really exciting. Pormesia, if Emil will be an optional lord, I am okay with it. Toddy, in that case, should not need to be a legendary hero, just optional. Give Emil a campaign. I mean, you could do that. I mean, I feel like it'd be weird to have Toddy, like, cease existing. I mean, I guess they could just make him like a recruitable lord if you play as R. Ulrich. So maybe if you play as R. Ulrich, like, Toddy is like, he's a lord that unlocks after a certain event or something happens. Maybe that could happen. Yeah. Did I see Toddy in combat? There were Wolfkin there? Oh, were there Wolfkin around him? I thought it was two Chicken Guard. I wouldn't be surprised if there were Wolfkin, because Wolfkin are in the Storm of Chaos roster. I think they're gonna adapt the full Storm of Chaos roster, because the Storm of Chaos is Hunting Hounds, Knights of the White Wolf, two Chicken Guard, Wolfkin. Yeah, so I'm expecting all four of those units at minimum. And then we've seen the Knights Panther. We've seen the... I bet we're getting the Celestial Hurricanum. The bottom left image looked like it's probably the Celestial Hurricanum. Someone on Reddit found the teaser images. They showed us R. Ulrich. Yeah, it's definitely R. Ulrich. Would it be too much for a faction to start with two lords? Technically, yes, because it means only one of them would exist in the campaign at a time. And would it be too much? Technically, no. But it is very obvious that CA has already decided to make R. Ulrich a legendary hero. Like, that's happening. That is happening. It is too late to avert course. That is already happening. I genuinely think that CA could be convinced to make R. Ulrich a optional legendary lord that you could choose, just like Isabella von Karstein. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, the Tutican do not have wolf hats. That's very true. Yeah, Tutican Guard don't wear helmets. They don't have hats. Parmesia, thank you for the super chat. I wish to see the trailer for Bashiva so that much, but nothing is seen. I don't think Bashiva's getting a trailer. I think they're just gonna kind of release her. I mean, it is a mini pack, so like I could see them being like, well, we're not gonna spend the money on like making a trailer, which would like they'd have to like. I'm sure those aren't cheap because like somebody's got to make it, which is gonna take time. They've got to bring in the voice actor to record unique lines. They usually make a custom piece of music for it, so they got to pay a composer. It might just be that the budget for the mini pack just doesn't include trailers. The way I see it, Toddy, who was a minor character that was just a small bonus, is now a fully upgraded character with his own campaign and basically better everything. That is objectively correct. But some people, I think, no, I've seen it. I mean, we've seen in chat. There are some people who are going to say, well, he was a free bonus, and now they are taking my free bonus away from me, and they're replacing it with something I have to pay for. Which, I don't agree with it, but I understand it. Like, I can follow the logic. Josh, hi! Josh, hi! Josh, good to see Josh, the live stream was incredible. That was such a fantastic, professional live stream. Like, regardless of, like, we're just chatting about the content, but, like, regardless of any of the conversation, I have to say that the show and tell live stream was immaculate. Like, really, really nice, quick pace. The stuff that showed off was awesome. I really, really hope y'all do that again in the future. I'm imagining it was a horrific amount of work. The fact that that entire thing was live blew my mind. That was incredibly smooth for a live stream. I mean, even for a recorded, that would have been great. So huge kudos to that. We are just having a little discussion here. Parmesia, why not try to make both Toddbringer and Emil Valgeir lords for the DLC, and let's put into the legendary hero line somebody we already have tons of Empire men. I mean, well, you say tons of Empire men as if the entire Empire is just Empire men. Like, all the legendary hero options would just be Empire men. So I will say the stream was great. I enjoyed everything I saw. My only two complaints, my only two criticisms would be I was really hoping for a Bashiva release date, but I understand that y'all are gonna wait to show that until it's ready. And there's some chatter about Boris Toddbringer as a legendary lord and all that, but I'm sure that'll be a discussion ongoing. But for the stream, you fucking killed it, Josh. It was great. Please get some good rest. You did awesome. My main problem is Toddy isn't just Lords of the End Times material. How dare you? Toddbringer is absolutely Lord of the End Times material. Toddbringer is absolutely Lord of the End Times material. How dare you? He takes valuable soldiers away from Middenheim to attack Kazrak. Yeah, because he's flawed and he's human. Like, a lot of characters in the End Times, A, do really stupid shit, and B, make, like, objectively poor choices. That's like saying that Belagar Ironhammer shouldn't be a legendary lord for the dwarfs because instead of going to reinforce the other dwarfs like he should have, he decided to be a stubborn asshole and got himself killed in Karakate Peaks. Like, what? Boris Toddbringer is like one of the most important characters to the Empire. Like, he's like one of the most important characters to the narrative of the Empire. He's a really, really, really big fucking deal. Especially for, like, the world building, which revolved a lot around, like, the roleplay game. Toddbringer is, like, one of the most important characters. And like, at least he killed Kazrak. Like, he kills Kazrak One Eye and takes out one of the Beastman's best generals. Emil Valgir, like, got fucking assassinated off screen by the Changeling. Like a loser. Did they show the Tigermen? Yes, they did show the Tigermen. Well, actually, no, they didn't show the Tigermen. They showed Bashiba. She looks really, really good. She looks pretty cool. You said there will be 4 new factions, but all the Mortarks will be there. So how many Lords and Legendary Heroes will be there in total, even if they aren't faction leaders, new settlements? I haven't heard anything about new settlements. I would love new settlements, but I haven't heard anything. It sounds like there's going to be a shit ton of Legendary Heroes. It sounds like there is going to be an absolute metric shit ton of Legendary Heroes. Because for, like, just for the undead, we know that Nagash and Neferata are Legendary Lords, but then Wallach Harkin and Dieter Helschnet are Legendary Heroes. So that's 2 and 2. Then we know Boris Todbringer's Legendary Lord, and it's basically all, like, it's definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, our Ulrich is the Legendary Hero. If they're doing the Glotkin, which I would be willing to bet a gajillion dollars they're doing Glotkin and Thankful as the other 2 Legendary Lords. If they do Glotkin and they adapt the book, Nurgle has 4 fucking heroes in that book. Because each of the Magath Riders is a unique character, and there's 3 of them, and then you have Gutrot Spume. Like, that's 4 Nurgle Legendary Heroes. That is a shit ton of Legendary Heroes. And then Thankful, in the Thankful book, it's likely Thankful and Bone Ripper is a lord, and then it's probably Screech Vermin King is the hero. There's no other heroes introduced in the book. There are some more heroes from the table, like the Skaven army books. There's not a lot though. We have most of the Skaven characters. There's very few Skaven characters left. I don't like the Glotkin myself. I'm not a big fan of the Glotkin either. I personally do not like the Glotkin that much. I feel like the Glotkin is an Age of Sigmar character that got ported into the end times because he just kind of shows up out of nowhere, whereas everybody else was pre-established characters. Yeah, Squeal Gnawtooth. Squeal Gnawtooth is, I think, the only other Skaven character that we're missing, unless you count Plague Lord Nurglich the First, which you could count him. He's been dead for like a super fucking long time, but you could technically count him, I guess. But Squeal Gnawtooth is the only character from the last Skaven army book that's still missing. Poor Misha, I hope Luther Huss will be one of the heroes, and with it this way, it means Drakenfels will be able to possess bodies, because in the trailer, Nameless had got his body. Yeah, I would love Luther Huss. I would, like, if the Empire was getting 2 legendary heroes, and they got, like, Emil Valgir and Luther Huss, that would be kind of fucking goated. Scratch Half-Dead is not a Skaven character. He's a Vampire Coast character. That's a different faction. He's not a Skaven character. Does Nurgle have any other Legendary Lord-worthy characters, though? They have one, technically, which would be, Valnir the Reaper. Though, I think Valnir the Reaper could be a Legendary Lord or a Legendary Hero. You could make him either one.
Dynamo95 cheered. X100 was catching up on TH stream and was surprised at how negative live chat was to the ladder reveal. Despite the fact people have been asking about it for ages, the comments were all these are just reskinned worse siege towers. Why should I sus
them over towers? Why did it take so long? I would say that that's a dumb opinion for them. I'm going to be honest. Because the siege rework did not take so long because of just the ladders. Also, Creative Assembly could have used generic ladders, but instead they made unique, brand new assets for every single faction in the game, which they didn't need to do, but was really, really nice. But I am pretty fucking sure that the complexities of trying to take the really basic bitch Warhammer sieges and completely rework them and trying to do crazy shit like allowing ethereal units through walls and hopefully trying to allow like spider cavalry to climb over walls and other stuff like that. That's what's taking so fucking long. The ladders is a bonus, but I wouldn't say it's like the main point. And also, game development takes time, but people are fucking stupid. That's there's a lot of, there are too many people in the video game world that are like, why can't they do what I want instantly? Why do I not get my thing instantly? How dare you take time? And it's like, bitch, shit, it's gotta get made. What are you talking about? Someone has to make this shit. Wallakark and Dieter Helschned, Constant Drakenfels, all legendary heroes. They didn't call Drakenfels a legendary hero. We know Drakenfels is coming. Well, it's not Drakenfels, it's the Nameless. But they didn't note the Nameless as a legendary hero, to my knowledge. He might be a legendary hero. Maybe he's a legendary hero. I don't know. The Nameless is super weird. He's really, really, really weird. Because like canonically, he kind of works like the Changeling.
Come to raid clan.
First Tour Guardsman, thanks so much for the raid. I mean, I'm about to end. Total War big up. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the stream. I'm pretty dang happy with the stream. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. My eyes hurt. Were y'all watching the stream or were y'all playing Space Marine? My guess for the Empire generic lore is the Wizard Lord. That would be nice. I think it might be the Grand Master. Because if they're adding the Knights Panther and the Knights of the White Wolf, the Grand Master Lord would be more thematic. Regarding Peak Leveler on Toddy, I always thought it was a massive greatsword, not one-handed. So, Karza, me and Andy have actually talked about this on stream, where the rune fangs of the Empire are very inconsistent. Games Workshop has been very wibbly-wobbly on rune fangs, in the roleplay game, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, each of the rune fangs are distinct. So every single rune fang is like a different size and like is wielded differently. So like Peak Leveler is this giant two-handed weapon, whereas the rune fang of Averland that is wielded by Marius Leitdorf is more of like a dueling paired, like it's a much more dueling focused single-handed weapon. But in the tabletop, all the rune fangs are the exact same. Like they're all single-handed weapons that you could take with like a shield. All of them are the like exact same. And if you look at Toddbringer's tabletop profile from the Storm of Chaos, Peak Leveler is a one-handed weapon. It's not a two-handed weapon. So they went with the tabletop version for the battle game, and in the battle game, all of the rune fangs are the exact same. Which is lame, but you know, that it is what it is. Could we get Grandmaster variants? I would love Grandmaster variants. I would love if you could take a Grandmaster and, you know how like the Saurus Old Blood can like pick which old one it reveres and it gets different buffs? If we could take a Grandmaster and you could pick which knightly order they belong to and it gives them a bunch of different stat changes, that would be fucking hype. But I would also really like Wizard Lords. I think for the sake of playing the Empire, Wizard Lords would be much more important. I think getting Wizard Lords would be significantly more important for the Empire, and way better for them than Grandmasters. But Grandmasters would be very cool. Does Vlad have the Runefang of Sylvania, or is the Runefang lost? I believe the Sylvanian Runefang... I don't think Sylvania had their own Runefang. No, Sylvania did not have a Runefang. Because the only two Runefangs that are currently not held by a province were the Drakwold Runefang and the Sunlin Runefang. So Sylvania did not have one. If Sylvania had a Runefang, it would be the Sterlin Runefang. Do you think Emil and Ulrich units will get immunity to frostbite? They'll probably have immunity to contact effects. I could see them having immunity to contact effects. Either that, or maybe they'll just have like a gajillion fire resistance. If they gave them like 80% fire resistance, that would also be fine. Or just like super high flame resistance. But I would also accept immune to contact effects. Or both. They could give us both. That would be cool. Do you think they'll be updating more of the lords already technically in game? I hope so. Listen. I'm going to be honest. First of all, thank you for the raid, by the way, again, First Order Guardsman. Appreciate you, brother. If you don't know me, hi, hello, I'm Loremaster Sotek. I'm considered one of the premier authorities on Warhammer Fantasy lore and literature, and I'm also involved in pretty much everything you can imagine that has Warhammer themes. And I get to chat with lots of people in the various industries, like Total War and stuff. I've been wrapped up in Total War stuff for fucking ever these days. So feel free to stick around as we're chatting for a little bit about it. But I will be honest of that, like, I am someone that I have zero problems paying for. I love getting new stuff that I have to pay for because I just like having more new things. If Creative Assembly came to me and said, hey, we're never going to do Gorfang Rotgut unless we make him a DLC like we did Toddy. Like, we'll give you Gorfang Rotgut, but you have to pay for it. I would be like, take all my money. Take all my money. Just take it all. Same thing for the Red Duke. Like, if the Red Duke becoming a legendary lord was dependent on him being a paid DLC and he gets like a full new model and all the like a new voice actor. Granted, the Red Duke is in a worse position than Toddy because he doesn't have a unique voice actor. He has the generic vampire voice. So the Red Duke would actually require more work than Toddy did. But like, if they came to me and were like, hey, we'll take these characters and we'll make them like full-on legendary lords with campaigns and yada yada yada, you just have to pay us, I'd be like, take all my money. Just take it all. Take it all. I acknowledge that is a me thing. There are quite a few people that I think would be like, no, that's terrible. But yeah, no, I just want more toys. I just want more toys. I need my Scarab Bridge for Cetra and Kotep Scrolls. I forgot about Kotep Scrolls. That's what it was. Dude, I shit you not. I was sitting there. So I recorded the Cetra video and the Morgar video. And I was sitting there like, there's one more character. I can't remember who it is, but there's one more character in this game that's missing an item, and I couldn't remember who it is. It's fucking Kotep. I completely blanked on that. Kotep is missing a magic item. Oh, okay, I gotta make a video on that. Thank you for reminding me. That's right, it was fucking Kotep. My issue with the Red Duke is the Malobot erasure. I agree. I think we could technically get both if we played our cards very carefully. Just make Middenheim DLC $1 or $2 cheaper than the others. I do not think, like, I feel like it would be like 50 cents cheaper. But I also feel like that would be bizarrely nitpicky. I don't know. Give Kairos a scroll. Kairos has a scroll. Kairos has the... Wait, does Kairos have the Destiny scroll? I know he talks about it. Is it on his skill tree? I thought he has it on like his skill tree. Bretonia DLC win? Please, God. Please, God, give me a Bretonia DLC. Please, let Bretonia have one DLC. Just one. Just one DLC that lets us go ham. Just one. Just one. He has it only in multiplayer? Really? So the item's in the game, but he doesn't have it in campaign? Wow. I'll have to fix that. Yeah, like I would be fine if they wanted to make it where like the Red Duke becomes a playable legendary lord that starts in like the Grey Mountains or the Forest of Arden as like his start position, and then Malobod ends up being like a Bretonian vampire count hybrid character that starts in Musion. That would be pretty cute. And then Bretonia could have like a full-on fucking civil war, and it would be awesome. Because you'd have the Fey Enchantress in Lewin versus the Red Duke and Malobod, which would be pretty, with like fucking Grom the Paunch being a big old fat asshole in the middle of it. That sounds delicious to me. I realize it would be crowded, but I don't care. Oh yeah, and also Heinrich Kimmler's there. So it would actually be disadvantageous for Bretonia, but that's fine. Bretonia could deal. What am I most excited for in the new DLC? For Bashiba, I'm most excited for the lore. Like the little snippets we saw about Talian and Bashiva's lore, I am so excited for their lore. The Red Duke moves to Castle Baston. I'd probably put him in like, what if we made Bloodkeep a settlement? What if we made Bloodkeep a settlement and put him there? Does this mean Vulcan is not happening? To my, yeah, I guess this does mean Vulcan's not happening. Unless he ends up being a legendary hero that they haven't revealed yet. Like maybe, unless he's like a secret bonus or something, then yeah, I would say as of right now, it looks like Vulcan is not occurring. I mean, I'd rather have Luther Huss than Vulcan. By like a lot. I do not need Vulcan. Vulcan's cute. I could take him or leave him. I don't need Vulcan. I'm gonna be totally honest. I would give me, if I got, listen, for the Empire, if I could get Kurt Helborg as a legendary lord, make Emil Valgir an optional legendary lord, and then for legendary heroes, give me Ludwig Schwarzhelm, Luther Huss, and Matthias Tholman, I'm done. Like, that's it. That's all I need. That's all I need. Give me those, and the Empire has all the special characters that it needs, and I'm super happy. I'm super happy. Because that would give us a Warrior Priest legendary hero, an Empire Captain type legendary hero with Schwarzhelm, and then a Witch Hunter legendary hero with Tholman. And I'd be like, mwah, mwah. Leetdorf, I don't need Leetdorf. I'm gonna be honest. I love Leetdorf. He's a super cool character, but like, we've already got 2 Elector counts as playable characters. Do we really need a third? If I got him, I'd love it. If I got Leitdorf, I'd be like, awesome. I don't need him, but I'd take him. I'd rather have Kurt Helborg though. If I had to choose between Marius Leitdorf and, I'm gonna say his name different every time apparently. If I had to choose between Marius Leitdorf and Kurt Helborg, I would pick Kurt Helborg. But I would also like to have my cake and eat it too. I will say it is interesting to do an End Times DLC and not have Vulcan. That is an interesting choice. And the grand scheme of Warhammer lore, it's funny the Tiger Wars are such a big deal even if they're all a small DLC. Hey man. Big Tiger Mommy, what more could you want? She's huge too. Like it's interesting to me that she's technically classified as infantry size, but Bashiva looks like she's at least 9 feet tall. Like, she is as big as an ogre, but they're like, she counts as infantry, which is very funny. All right. Anyway, my dudes, I think we have waxed lyrical enough on that. I don't think there's any more I really need to say. I think I've said my thoughts. I am going to be making quite a few videos here soon because I want to, there's a lot to talk about. I want to make absolutely sure that I give a fair shake to the people that are not thrilled about Toddy. Because even if I don't agree with even if I don't fully agree with them, I think that their point is completely understandable. And I want to make sure I address that in the video. And because of that, I'm committing to y'all now. I am going to be pushing very, very publicly for that Emil Valgir should be an optional legendary lord. I don't like whatever they want to do with Toddy when you do that. Like if they want to make it where Toddy just becomes like a lord you can recruit at that point, or make it where like he's a legendary hero. I don't care. However they want to do it, it doesn't matter to me. But I am going to push very hard to. I don't think they'll do it for the DLC, but maybe they'll do it as like an update later. Like maybe that could be like 9.2 or 9.3. Like maybe if there's enough, if once again, we're going to be polite about it. We're going to be nice about it. If you want Creative Assembly to do something and you want to have a dialogue with them, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. It's not hard. Be nice. Be nice. So that is something though I am going to push for. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere. I don't know if it's even going to get that much traction, but it is something that I'm going to try and argue, because I think that's a reasonable argument. Still waiting for Steercar to be in Norska? Me too. I have been harassing them about it though, and they've been like, Sotek, shut up, get away from us. But all right, my dudes, thank you all so much for joining me. I do need to go have a think and figure out how I kind of want to talk about this kind of stuff. I am going to go ahead and send y'all off on some raids. Who is live? Let's see, on YouTube, the only person live that I know, oh, Mercy the Mad is live talking about Total War stuff. Perfect. And then on Twitch, all sorts of little broskies are live. Why don't we go see... Oh, we can raid Alexis, one of the Lorebeards. We can raid Alexis, one of the Lorebeards. Looks like she's playing Cyberpunk 2077. Cool. We'll raid Alexis. I don't think we've ever raided Alexis actually, because she only recently returned to streaming outside of Lorebeards. So yeah, that'll be cool. All right, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you had a great time. I hope you enjoyed the reaction and all that stuff. Like I said, I'll be making a lot of videos soon, so if you want to keep an eye out for that, please do follow, subscribe, whatever. I appreciate all your support very much. And also like the stream. That would help out a lot if you don't mind on the way out. Biofoot, thank you for the super chat. I would like to have my Kate and Edith too. Yes, indeed. And Pormesia, thank you for the super chat. Lore-wise, she is kind of an antagonist existence of darkness. So like a champion of light/order. Vaulted? Yeah. But yeah. All right. Anywho, have a lovely day. Bye. Oh, tell Alexis and Mercy that I said hello, and I hope they're all really doing well. And they're all cute beans, and they're great people. Thanks. Bye, guys. Bye, 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 bye.